First of two key inflation prints this week coming through here, 0.1% for the July month-over-month PPI, a little bit lower than the consensus 0.2% reading that was expected there. Core PPI month-over-month dead flat versus a slight uptick that was expected, 2.4% on the headline number there year over year versus 2.7. The forecast actually 3 on that, but consensus 2.7 comes in definitely lower than expected. So more data pointing towards the possibility, pretty much a lock at this point, that we'll get this first rate cut from the Fed coming through in September. Remember, the big one coming up tomorrow morning, CPI, this time tomorrow morning, expected to be 3.3% versus 3.2% on the prior print. So overall, the market, back to the upside on that this morning again. Downside for PPI, we'll see how CPI comes through. This morning, we were just keeping an eye on both Starbucks and CMG, Chipotle. A little bit of theft going on. Starbucks stealing Chipotle's CEO this morning. So pretty crazy movement for both of those. Opposite directions, obviously. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. Home Depot with earnings out pre-market. Initial move downside. We're basically right back up. It's even trying to get back to positive territory, possibly. Call for HD coming up at 8:30 this morning. But first of the retailers to come out this week.
Yeah, Brendo, it was a tough look for Home Depot, but as you mentioned, moving up here, look, they exceeded their quarterly earnings and revenue expectations, but net income continued to decrease 7 consecutive quarters in a row now with negative comparable sales. They lowered their full year forecast as well. Consumers are adopting a deferential mindset, whatever that is, basically putting off bigger purchases.
Yeah, here's the big one this morning, though. Starbucks absolutely ripping right now, 13.3%. Goes 76 up to 86 in a hurry. Yeah, the CEO of Chipotle, Brian Niccol, headed over to Starbucks. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently it is. That you can just walk in the door and say, you are now working for Starbucks. So huge move for Starbucks. If we flip over to CMG, downside in about the same extent here, 8.6% for Chipotle, all the way down to $50. So wild on both ends of the scale here. Coming off that split for CMG, some opportunities today.
Yeah, and he hasn't been in the job that long, for the outgoing CEO, Brendo. March 2023, Adair checking that. I guess, it's a year and a half almost of trials here, and it's been a tough year and a half, obviously, for Starbucks as they dealt with activism. Now, consumer spending a little bit down. We'll have to get more information about this.
Just watching DJT as well. I saw a few people mentioning that this morning, downside off that interview with Elon for Trump last night on X. That was a bit of a mess. Technical issues, or some people are saying there was some sort of interference or potential interference with that interview. But we're trying to get back higher right now, back to 24, 25. But 2.5% negative, guys, for DJT to start things off as well. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I can't see how that, Trump goes back onto Twitter, gets 1 million followers added immediately, and then even with the delay, I don't know how many millions of people were watching it, but I don't really see how that's good for Truth Social, which isn't really making money anyways. But the bigger story, of course, is the Starbucks and Chipotle, and the good thing about it is Chipotle did the reverse split, so that's pretty tradable here today, just in time. On that light number for inflation, Nvidia just popped $1.50. Apple made a bit of a decent move here. I mean, the futures got to 18.8 overnight highs. So you are seeing, and we'll get to some of the movers individually, but you are seeing a big bounce here in several names. Nvidia had a strong day yesterday, up 3% already again here today. So it looks like we're going a little bit of the continuation that we saw. Remember how the market's been, though. You get those bounces early, and then we get to the middle of the day, slow it down, and then it's like this light glide in the afternoon. We'll see if that pattern holds, but wow, what a move by Starbucks and Chipotle. Just glad that Chipotle's $50, which might make it pretty tradable today. This could open up SSR, which for a name like CMG, obviously going to be rare. Could be down 10% at the open and trying to hold on to something here, maybe this $50 level. We'll see. It's pretty thin, though.
Yeah, great. Finally. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. We actually talked about this live on the show yesterday. And I was saying to Sharif, when we came in here and I was talking about how I bought Starbucks, I bought Nike, all these names. We even talked about this with Raider, Trader, everybody that comes on the show I talk about Starbucks with. And that was a great buy. I just checked my account. We're long at 74 and change, and there it goes to the upside. This is what it needed. It needed a new change. I mean, I mentioned this, you know, different deals has to come up on the app. They have to change something. McDonald's is going to the cheaper menu. Now they're going to go and see what can happen with Brian Nichols. I mean, this guy has literally like changed. I mean, Chipotle, come on. I mean, that stock, again, how many millionaires has that minted? He started that from the bottom. We'll see what he could do with this huge name here now, Starbucks. I think this is an absolute huge win for them. And yeah, right up to the 200 period. I was just looking to think about it, about selling some now just because of this huge move. I mean, you're long down here. You get this pop right back to the 200 period moving average. I think this is probably an area where you want to look to sell something. We talked about that on Roblox. We talked about that on, you know, a lot of these stocks. We talked about it the other way with DraftKings going the other way. And right here, I just think this could be a spot. So, you know, if you woke up today to this news, I think it goes higher. But for now, with the market uncertainty and in trying to raise some capital, you know, this could probably be an area. So we'll watch out for this 88 spot right now for Starbucks. But yeah, man, awesome trade. Anybody on that one? And then the number one idea on the sticky note is already going, and it's Nvidia. And that's we talked about this yesterday. I said this is a name that we're going to have to get long today. And you know, we came back yesterday. We did. Look, yesterday was a banger day. We talked about that with the Shopify short and the TQ short at the end of the day. But Nvidia yesterday up 4 and a bit percentage and is not stopping at all. So, I mean, there it goes, man. Completely ripping up again, another 3.5%. Wow, we're excited. We're ready to go here today. Glad to be back, second day back. Wow, 113. It's going to break 113. And Nvidia and Intel's at 1950. Okay, Bitcoin 59, ETH 26. So things are going well around here. How about you guys over on the desk?
Good, fantastic. Actually, this morning. By the way, there's also a Google event today for anyone who is paying attention. Yeah, today is the 13th. The highly leaked, as they always do, Pixel 9 will be presented today in this Made by Google event coming up. I think it's 12:30. It starts this afternoon. Or maybe it's 12 o'clock. I'll double check, but just be aware it's coming up this afternoon. It'll probably be a non-event. Google does this every single time they launch something. They leak everything about it before it even happens. So, I mean, it's all on the internet already.
Yeah, I'm looking right at it here, Brendo. So there's a lot being discussed here. The fold is really what's getting my attention, Brendo. And I talking about that off camera. It's going to be thinner, so it's going to fit in your pocket a little bit better. It's going to be the Pixel 9 Fold. There's watches that are coming out, new headsets, new camera designs as well. So a lot of details to get that. We'll probably cover that on the midday show as well.
Yeah, I was reading last night about the next gen Pixel Buds Pro, and it was only going to have active noise canceling, which basically any headphones have at this point. So from what I saw, there wasn't a lot of changes that were being made from the 8 to the 9. So we'll see. Maybe they announce a few things today. Worth noting. There is now a, what is this, 99, if you add these two together, 99% chance of cut coming up in September, including almost a 50% shot, 47.5% shot at 50 basis points coming off, guys.
Ooh, so you're saying it's a lock. Okay, fair enough.
A lock.
I mean, that's
a lock.
We've been coming into these decisions usually that it's a lock, that nothing is going to happen. So, you know, it's exciting that there's going to be something. I remember a lot of times it can be more exciting if there's at least some kind of a chance of a surprise, but that's a long time ago. They do a really good job. I suppose that's what they're supposed to do, a really good job telegraphing things. But just quickly on that Google or Alphabet note, Alphabet's one of the, I don't want to say few names, but one of the names that hasn't gotten back above where we were holding last week. And when it attempted to do so yesterday, it was right at the open and it popped. It got to a prior Monday high, and that we'll call it the relief rally to end all relief rallies, at least the best one in a couple of years. And you popped into 164.5, failed it. Yesterday, it got to 165 almost on a dime and couldn't break out. So you draw that red line in the sand, although this one's blue. at 165. I see so many things flying around here right now. The NASDAQ just won 1%. As we said, Nvidia already starting to go. You're getting a decent move up, but if Google doesn't get past 165, they got an event that everyone knows what's going to happen. I think you got a good reversal level here on Alphabet. And then if it trends above, kind of an easy join with plenty of room. I like this level at 165 on Alphabet today. We'll let it glide toward it. I mean, it's not really moving a lot. It's not doing, I mean, compared to like Nvidia's volume or most of the other things I'm looking at, like Apple pre-market, Tesla pre-market, very light volume on Alphabet, but that 165 very much in play for resistance the last now full week.
All right, so I think everybody knows the only phone that anybody really is going to care about is regarding this stock. And, you know, if Apple continues this move here again, it's just going, I mean, what a day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or something. Straight up days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry, 6 or 7. Straight up days there now, breaking back above that 215, holding the 50 period, moving average, man. I mean, we really, I really like this stock again here today. I mean, up 0.5. Obviously, it's not as much as the market here today, but that was a really nice shot up for on the PPI, 2.2 versus 2.3. So coming in a little cooler than expected, which is obviously nice for the market because the mind's already made up. We talked about those Fed rate cuts coming through. So I think Apple right here trying to break above this 220 area looks very, very interesting to me. Pullbacks into VWAP, which isn't too far away now of 218.50. I'd rather play Nvidia. We're going to watch out for that one. But I think Apple, again, just trade the names that you know a direction is picked for you already. And I think Apple, the long is sort of there. So we'll continue to look at that spot for Apple. And yeah, we'll look at some Google. You know, I think I have to go back and look, but I think it is going to be close to my #1 holding. So we'd like to see that start to go up. And I think a fold is a good idea. So we'll see if that does anything. But yeah, you know, the Pixel Buds, I have them a couple of years ago, maybe 1 or 2 years old. Actually, they're in my car still. And, you know, I use them, but I don't think they're the greatest. I don't think they're revolutionary. And if these ones aren't doing anything other than noise canceling, as Brendan said, I think that's already.
Which everything's got to have.
So, all right. Yeah. Anyways, I like Apple here better than Google just because I feel like direction's already played for us. So I'll be following Apple more than Google today.
We'll talk about this Huawei note with Nvidia coming up here, but I just saw Nvidia moving around a little bit this morning, active as it always is. 4.8% here for Rumble. Meanwhile, first off, nice move after the close yesterday. Not a lot of volume behind this morning. It's trying to hold $6 right now, which could be key to maintaining some of this gain. I mean, we were just saying off camera there a little bit. It seemed like there was so much momentum and hype around Rumble going back to last summer and fall. Going into the new year, and then it kind of just died off, hasn't really materialized.
It's tough to beat Yahoo or Yahoo. Where am I? Like
anything, yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Sorry, guys, I'll get it right. Q2 revenue for Rumble did quite well, though. $22.5 million, exceeding analyst expectations. They posted better EPS than the estimates. They're also continuing to grow their user base, about 53 million global users. Really, it's more news-related sites. But as you mentioned, I mean, it's really tough to beat the incumbent. I really feel this is more for a specific segment of the population. Really hasn't spread everywhere else. That's kind of my feeling there. There's Daily Motion as well, which also hasn't been able to overtake YouTube.
I mean, you said it. The competition is so tough to even get a footing in at this point. But if you zoom out a little bit here, guys, $6 key level here for Rumble.
People use Daily Motion much? Yeah? Okay. No, I'm just curious.
I don't even know what it is.
No, I know them because it's a video site. It's not. It's like the little kind of YouTube, but not.
What do we use it for?
You watch this video hosting. Yeah, it's really posting other videos that just go on Daily Motion. I know it. I haven't used it in a long time. I didn't realize until Shreve said that that's actually still a bit of a thing. Rumble. I mean, when you do 50,000 shares in the pre-market when things are moving around here, it doesn't really get you excited. And I think, obviously it would have been nice if this had gone up. What's that short float? 20%? 20% short float. It's up 5 points, which is pretty much not even moving at all for a stock like this. I don't wonder if there won't be a better chance if you're looking at something in this cohort, like look at the chart, after earnings, you get a spike and then it's right back to where it was before. You look at something like maybe DJT, at least this gives you a stock that's moving outside of a range or trending, right? So you want things that are, giving you a direction or giving you a new price area that we're gravitating towards. Like DJT, pretty much all-time low is coming into play here since conversion. It's like $22. Maybe you get some kind of a bounce support off DJT, but it's in a clear downtrend that maybe you can pop some fades or something along those lines. I just don't see much of any excitement with the Rumble. It's not doing anything. So you've got to have something that's going to move for you. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be it today, at least not with that early reaction.
I was going to look here, made me think about GameStop a little bit. You know what? I like this doesn't really want to end, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, I think fortunately. We keep on looking at this $20 level here. So I don't think that you're obviously waiting for catalysts and everything like that. But we could pop through here. I mean, the last couple, this is just a daily chart, but it seems like we're holding this $20, $21 area. We can get something going through there. It's only 50,000 shares. It's not huge, but the 20-minute chart as well gives you that level yesterday afternoon of 2150 that we sort of held. So maybe there's something there if you can get a little bit of, and this is just to watch for today, get a little bit of a dip into 2150 there, see if it can hold that level. So we bounced off of it, went down about $1, right? Broke it, went up about 70 cents. So I think there could be something there, or this 2050 area, looking at something. So, there could be a little bit of something there. And then AMC, just trying to flip back and forth here. Rumble, decent short flow. We'll go to AMC and go to GameStop as well. AMC doesn't look like, well, now that I see like what it did yesterday, that's not super exciting sitting in this 5-cent range. So yeah, AMC to me, not as many ranges here. And the problem with AMC is that like when you lose a level, you could drop down that 10 or 15%. I just don't see GameStop making that kind of a move. So I would just wait for AMC to get back into 450. For me, it was that GameStop that just looks a little bit better. If I can, for some reason, my page back is not working. So hold on a second.
Go, Jimmy.
Right there. Yeah, this 2150 just looks nicer to me. You have the 200 period right there at 21. So I think GameStop in and around here is something if you're looking for some fun this morning.
There was, it's worth noting, some cannabis action this morning as well. We talked about a few going into the weekend. Raheem was here on Thursday. We were discussing some weed names, but it's Organogram. OGI was up on a beat this morning. This is a $1.50 name once again. Just reading through some of the details, but OGI, for anybody wondering, was a decent report here. I mean, MSOS was pretty active last week. Hasn't really done too much so far this week, pulling back to $7 here.
Yeah, this OGI seems to be interesting. Not a company that I had eyes on, Brendo, but they did quite well. Gross revenue increased $63.5 million from $48.5 million. Good look there. Profit, $3.5 million loss versus the, $4.9 million loss last year. So they're able to narrow their balance sheet a little bit here, but also relying on other areas other than marijuana to generate capital. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Tesla holding here just below $200. A few people were mentioning, I mean, Twitter and Tesla obviously very separate. For X, I guess, not Twitter. If there's any kind of technical fallout from what happened with that interview last night, but I mean, it's not going to affect this stock or shouldn't at all. $200, so key level here. It's forming a nice little wedge going into that area for Tesla.
Yeah, it was interesting yesterday as well with the rear-wheel drive cancellation of the Cybertruck. So I read a little bit more on that. So demand now for the Cybertruck in question. So in the States, not in Canada, but in the States, if you want to get your hands on a Cybertruck right now, you're able to. That isn't the case on this side of the border, and that wasn't the case prior to that. So a lot of speculation here about them trying to shore up costs by removing the least sold product from their Cybertruck lineup, which is the rear-wheel drive. Randy and I talking off camera yesterday about what the percentage, Brendo, of actually of
orders,
trucks are that are rear-wheel drive as opposed to front-wheel drive, and it's like a very
I
small
think it was
percentage.
important from a marketing standpoint for them to get it off the ground and get it out there under 100,000.
Sure.
And now quietly they make the 100 or the under the 100,000 version go away. So, I mean, we'll see. Tesla not terribly active so far, guys.
Yeah, it isn't, and I think you made a very good point there, Brendan, about get it out there, get the press, you can get it done, you can get production, and then just slide it by the wayside a little bit and reduce. But yeah, the 200 level, I think it's turned into what the 04 was last week. I think the way the market was going yesterday kind of felt as if the 04 was going to get tested, and then Tesla just never found any strength of its own. So unfortunately, you're putting in a little bit of a lower high on Tesla. I think that puts any breakout above 204 on the back burner, at least temporarily, because you could get a 200 break that takes you to 204 today. I think that would be more reasonable, that you get to 204 its resistance instead of a breakout, or at least before a breakout. But ever since that flush that we had last week, the thought has been most of these stocks that put in the higher lows, I want to play that break because there's just so much room to rally. Like, if you just fill in the first portion of the gap, if Tesla were to break that 04, you're talking about $220. And only because every time we talk Tesla, it's an opportunity to mention maybe another EV name that we wouldn't normally get to, and that would just be Rivian here. It's bouncing after a couple of really bad opens for Rivian. So right off the open, it's been dropping. Like, it dropped $1 right off the open on Friday, more or less. I mean, it kind of took a little bit longer to get there, but then it dropped right off the open again yesterday, just completely falling apart. So 1330 is setting up as a flat bottom break here on Rivian. Not many things, I said this in the aftermarket show, there aren't many things which are right down around those Monday lows. So Rivian breaks 1330, looking for the flat bottom break.
On today's sticky note, we have Tesla here as one of the short ideas for today, 203. I feel like this is a definite level that you're going to want to look at for Tesla. We just sort of mentioned it right there. Until we get above, then I don't see any reason why we would think about going long this name, period. I don't care really at any level, really. I mean, if it flushes into the 180s, different story. But, for right now, I would just say watch out for this 203. Pretty simple trade, man. It doesn't require too much thought, really. You short that until it breaks. When it does, you can have an easy out, and then you could consider whatever the market's doing, and then maybe possibly ride this thing back into that 220 or so area. So I would really be shorting into 203.50. The stock's been really beat up, obviously, and it's still, in the penalty box, still under this 210 area. I'm shorting Tesla here at 203. It's a big idea here on the sticky note. What's up, Adara?
Dell kicking off the upgrade side of things today, getting this upgrade from Barclays. The note's a little bit interesting. You can read more about this in our watch list, but Barclays excited about Dell's AI prospects, but a little bit concerned about other aspects of the business. We have Alliant Energy here getting an upgrade from Ladenburg Thelman. We have Moody's here getting an upgrade from Wells Fargo, and Artiva with an upgrade from Cantor Fitzgerald. On the downgrade side, we have recent earnings missed from last week. Warner Brothers Discovery, they're down about 0.2% here with this downgrade from Bernstein. Daiwa Securities downgrading Zoom Info. We've got Centerpoint Energy with a downgrade here from Wells Fargo. And last but not least, Goldman Sachs downgrading Cytokinetics. Bit of an interesting board here today, guys.
Now at least we know that they're watching the show. I mean, yesterday I mentioned Dell, and I said how I like Dell down at this area. I related it to the SMCI. I said this is a name that I think is at a great level, had a huge run and a massive pullback. So if the AI story is still intact, we talked about going long Nvidia, which is the #1 trade idea today. And then yesterday we stamped Dell. So I mean, we're pretty, we're pretty on with some of these calls right now. Let's see if it can continue to go higher here, breaking through that 105, the 200 period moving average. I like Dell. Good job on the upgrade.
I wanted to break 100. I mean, it's just, you have a sort of obvious level. Like last week, we basically rallied on that Monday, and some stocks broke out, some stocks didn't. Dell went right to $100 pretty much on a dime, which was also the previous Friday low. So just needs to break out the $100 level in there. Like yesterday for me, in the chip space, Nvidia is going to be the first place to go to because it was that initial short off the 109, which was last week's resistance, and then it was a reversal when it broke out the 109, and that move took you all the way to 111. So I'm just looking continuation on Nvidia. Just kind of go back to where the bread was buttered. That was the big breakout yesterday. And clearly, you can see it's continuing to follow this gap to the upside, and it's got a wide one. I mean, 120 does look like a pretty solid resistance zone. You cross that bridge when you get there. But Dell 100, that's the key one. I mean, it's an obvious level because everyone looks at a level like a 100 one, but if it breaks, it could easily rally. It's just not nearly as strong as NVDA.
Switzerland. ONON, shoemaker, reporting this morning as well. It was downside initially. The company is based in Switzerland, so the earnings call was actually 8 o'clock this morning. I don't see anything significant on this, but it just did that. Huge move with the overall market back above $40, trying to hold positive here now for ON.
Yeah, this company keeps surprising me here, Brendo, because they're not cheap. They're expensive, but they keep doing better in an environment where we don't expect the more expensive brands to outperform. But here's a look. They exceeded analyst expectations with respect to revenue. They printed higher with respect to EPS, higher percentage of full price sales. These people would really rather not sell you a shoe than have to cut the price. They'd rather really maintain the full price there. They also maintained their guidance for the full year, maintaining on the net sales growth about 30% year over year. And they're outpacing Nike now, Brendo, in terms of taking new shelf space with these retailers. So interesting look.
And Roger Federer still involved with ON as well. I was just noting September of 2021. I remember sitting here when that came to market. September of 2021.
What did you think about it at the time, though?
I mean, we had no idea, but it's just crazy it was that long ago.
Yeah, time flies. I mean, that's how it works. But ON, this is actually, I'm surprised Sharif didn't mention the level here on the daily chart for ON. This 36 level, like resistance going all the way back to early in the year. You got March in here, resistance, it broke it out, then support. So the fact that the buyers stepped in after the report at that price and really supported it, it supported buying it, it's continuing to go higher. That would have been the level, but I mean, it already did the move, so what are you going to do? Like, you're not getting a trade-off. I mean, if you get a trade-off 36 at this point, like, that is a drastic change as to what's happened in this market. So again, there's your move. Again, surprised Sharif didn't mention that because he was all over it. I'm looking at Nike, however. Nike is attempting to find that post-earnings bottom. It just last week did that liquidity grab. So rounded bottom on Nike, bit of a triple top here at $75.50 that it's looking to break that out. So, once, twice, whatever it does today, you get like a third top in there. And Nike kind of poised to break out this 75.5. It's just been grinding into this level. And I like the liquidity grab under 71, right? Like, you dump some people out there when it makes a fresh low, then you go steady right into that high. Possibly you get another consolidation day before it happens, but when it does, want to be looking at that. ON's, it's already gone 10% off that 36 level. There's not much to do with it.
All right, so ONON, obviously not as bad as stocks like Intel and things like that, but you talk about where it IPO'd. If you held this name for the last 3 years, you made absolutely nothing. So ONON, again, great shoe, great company, but absolutely nothing for shareholders. So that's it. This is since its IPO, so there we go. And there we are right now. So pretty bad stock right there to hold it, but is it doing better than Nike? The thing is, its PE is 87. Nike's PE is 21. They are very, very brand niche specific to the running community, right? So I just feel like in any economic downturn, these kind of niche stocks are a little bit more in trouble. But at the same time, I mean, I guess up 3% here today, a name that won't be traded on the show, it's ONON.
Crazy expensive for those things too. All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here this morning to get going on a Tuesday. Let's have a look at the market.
Funny enough, I didn't have to move the horizontal trend line that shows the closing price. We closed at exactly the same level, 56.70-ish, 56.69. We're well above that right now. 53.69, guys. I'm sorry about that. 5,400. We're at that level right now. We got there. We got above there on the PPI spike, 59.04. So let's see if we're able to hold 5,400. If we're able to hold 5,400 as a level as support, we're looking at 5,450 as resistance.
All right, I have free stuff for you. If you haven't done so yet, go down to the description in this video right now. There's a link to the watch list. Hit that link, enter your email address, and then you get that every single morning for absolutely nothing. Comes right to your inbox for free from us. If you were wondering what on earth is going on with Chipotle and Starbucks, Starbucks stealing Chipotle's CEO. So basically, as you were saying, kind of mirroring each other on the chart. Starbucks to the upside, CMG downside, pretty big way here.
Yeah, so here it is. CEO Laxman Nara Isamhan. I'm sorry if I obviously butchered that. Going to be replaced by Brian Nickel. That's the outgoing CEO of Chipotle. Obviously, Chipotle's done very, very well during the time where Starbucks hasn't done as well. Starbucks has struggled with weak sales in the U.S., about a 21% decline this year already, Brendo, in the stock price.
I mean, it's trying to bounce, but this is not really a great bounce so far, guys, for CMG.
Relative to what's going on with Starbucks, I'd say it's actually a pretty solid bounce. Because Starbucks, if you think of it as doing reverse moves, right, then Starbucks pulls back. There was some buying in CMG, and then Starbucks bounces off VWAP, and then CMG continues to bounce. I mean, I wager to say that with Starbucks, it has had more of the issues going on, and obviously there's been some criticisms of their leadership as well. So it's probably better news for Starbucks than it is bad for CMG in some ways. And it's going to be, you're not going to open up 10% down or anything on CMG. It's already made that bounce, but $49.50 is support. If you go back on and look past earnings, this is not going to be split adjusted, that daily chart, but it was already 49.5 support on earnings. Then you had that dump off. That's exactly where it bounced in here today. So I do like a bounce off the 50 area if it's even going to get to that price. I don't think it makes any sense that it reclaims the entire move here. So if we get back into prior resistance, or I should say support levels, we'd look for resistance on CMG. But no SSR bounce. And I said when the first thing that came out of my mouth is, wow, this could be 10% down, in which case CMG would be a great opportunity to trade if it goes more than 10% to the downside. But you can see it's recovering pretty nicely here. And Starbucks is just holding on trend right now. So I think this could be a nice one getting into that 90 level, which is a bit of resistance on the daily chart. I think it'll have trouble getting through that 90.
All right, so here we go. Starbucks. Those of us that bought that dip, well treated today. It took a minute, right? I mean, we were actually doing pretty good up here already. We had looked. We're long 74 and change. That was a good play. I feel like we had played it off some of these levels here again. And if you zoom back out, I actually had a weekly chart up there because I just had ONON on as well. We had liked some of these bottoms here in and around $70. We had seen it before, so we just took a shot in the dark. Everywhere I go, it's Starbucks all the time, everywhere. Same as McDonald's. I was thinking about making a play there as well. But there it is. It's all the way back up to the upside. I think it's at a spot where maybe you want to sell a little bit of this just because you're at the 200 period moving average. Reward yourself now for about 20% in the money. I think it's a great story there for Starbucks on the turnaround, right? And I actually think it's a horrible news for Chipotle. So for me, I would be staying as far away from this name as possible until you get a lot higher than where we are right now. They just lost unexpectedly the leader of their company. That's not good, man. So I don't like this stock at all. It's a nice rebound right there. Let's hear what the consumer has to say, though. We're going to have Walmart come through this week. Obviously, Home Depot. We'll get to those stories as well. But for me right now, I think Chipotle is a short at this level. Let's just wait to see what happens, though, off the open. I actually got to find out the short float on CMG as well. I can find it right here.
That'll be nothing.
With the Benzinga Pro platform right now. So we got 2.5 there on Trade Ideas. Probably the same thing here as well. As we'll go, that's down into here. Where is short ratio? I'll find it in a minute. Anyways, Neil mentioned 2.5 right there. Market cap. Anyways, this is what CMG is doing right now. You could still see a forward PE of 54. So that's, not great either in this space when you have McDonald's, Starbucks. Look at these PEs. 20. I mean, this is why I'm buying these companies. We're not just a pretty face because we're not that. McDonald's, Starbucks, right? I mean, these are names that have decent PEs where we're talking about it. That's why we go over to ONON and we look at what their PE is, right? But there it is. It's Chipotle. I still think they have a lot of work to do here today. So we'll see. Oh, there it is. Short flow right there. Yeah, 2.5. So good call on that one. Chipotle for me is a short, and I think this is pretty bad news. So.
All right, quickly, DJT downside here. There was decent volume early on. It's kind of dried up here a little bit, but negative to the tune of about 2.8% this morning coming off this interview last night. It was too late for my world once it actually got going. I tried, but I mean, there were some technical issues to get going for Trump and Elon last night.
Yeah, so with respect to the report, the net loss of $16.5 million for the second quarter. Revenue in the quarter declined a bit here. $837,000 was the revenue decline, so 30% year-over-year decrease. As Brendo mentioned, there were issues getting into the stream yesterday. I personally tried multiple times. It would kick me out. And then once I got in, I just heard music, so I didn't actually get to hear the entire interview. Elon Musk tweeting separately after that they were subject to a DDoS attack. Obviously, no confirmation there, just reiterating what he said.
Yeah, it might be a nothing kind of event as far as the stock is concerned today, but worth a note here and maybe keep an eye on, guys.
Yeah, I mean, set the alert for when this thing gets to that low at 22. 22, let me see the actual, I won't bother. It's like 22.40 on DJT. So if you get to that and it loses that, then, you know, maybe look for like some kind of a big continuation short, or the next big time it does a pop, look for a fade, something along those lines. Or it's in a slight downward trend. So unless you're leaning on this with a swing trade short, there's really not much that you're doing with it until it gets to that bottom or some kind of volume spike happens. So, you know, it is what it is. If it makes that break today, we'll look at it. If it gets down there next week, maybe. But for today, I don't see a heck of a lot going on with the DJT. It's just like Rumble. There's nothing wrong with a squeeze name when it starts to go. You want to be on it. You saw Beyond Meat last week. It was insane when it finally just started to go. But this one, not going to be much of a thing here unless we do get a test of that 22. And it's not doing enough volume to indicate that it wants to get there today.
Yeah, I mean, I just called it up right here as well. I mean, unfortunately, we had told this story so many times, and it's getting a little sour, man. I mean, we already talked about where this name was eventually going back to. I think it's going sub $10. So, you know, that was the SPAC price. It's not worth anything. Now you have Kamala Harris as the pretty heavy favorite now to win. So it's just, you know, this is not going anywhere. Like, imagine if Donald Trump, who's, again, not the favorite to win, loses. He's now 80, or he is 79, I don't know what, 78 maybe now. He's not running again. And, yeah, so where does this leave the stock? So, you know, I don't know. I'm not in love with this name, needless to say. So I would say if you're still in it, sorry about that. But it was an easy out when they were having the debate and all that kind of stuff. And we got some nice pumps up on there. And I believe this was the attempted assassination day probably, where it came in that morning and it was rocking. And then it faded all day. So it's like that's that. Is that right? July 15th? Maybe that might have been when it was. But, you know, huge move to the downside ever since then. Can't get off the mat. So unfortunately, we are down, reminding me of Cleveland Cliffs right now at 52-week highs, one of the largest producers of iron ore pellets in North America, as Cleveland Cliffs is getting absolutely killed again to the down.
I thought you were going to say falling off the cliff.
No, I don't play like that. You know, I mean, I do sometimes, but
you know,
yeah, it's an easy one. But there it goes, man. Just continuous falling off a cliff. Right there, breaking through 14 and going lower. Just another $500 million note offering right now for Cleveland Cliffs. So, you know, we talk about copper and all that kind of stuff.
Like Albemarle.
Going through Albemarle, yeah. Albemarle.
They're pretty bad too.
They're all. I mean, a lot of these iron. You know, the one that I was in, I still have a little bit of it, was Nucor, and this is a name that I've liked, you know, for a while. We've been raising cash and selling some of these names. This isn't anything recently. I don't even remember the last time I traded this, but this was a name that I was in as well. This is downside. I would like to buy best of breed all the time, and I feel like if you're looking at, this is why I was calling this up again, is coming right into this area again for Nucor. Could be something. You know, there was Make America Great Again. We're trying to build out all this infrastructure and stuff like that. So I think there has to be a little bit of work done for some of this stuff. So we'll see here about Nucor coming through. And then, of course, we had talked about U.S. Steel with Nippon and things like that.
Steel.
So anyways, all right, that's a little bit of talk there on some metals. So from DJT to Cleveland Cliffs to Nucor to Brendan Wickens.
And Nvidia up better part of 4% here, 3.8% already this morning after a huge move out of the gate yesterday. Held most of that to 110. Yeah, reporting, Wall Street Journal reporting this morning that Huawei's new AI-specific chip going to get some testing done, I guess, around it to see how it adds up against Nvidia. But that chart tends to say it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't. Not yet, Brendo. 20% was spoken about as the percentage of Nvidia's revenue that was going to China. Obviously, that's up in the air after the sanctions. But they were able to make new chips to get into the China market, specifically that H20 and the upcoming B20. That's the chip that's going to compete against the new Ascend 910. Apparently, it's doing quite well, and they were able to make it circumventing some of these export embargoes, specifically with some of the lithography machines. We'll have to see how this one does, but it could be released later this year, Brendo, and they want to make about 1.3 to 1.4 million of them by the end of the next year.
Yeah, so as I said, I mean, we're back to, what is that, Wednesday or Thursday of last week when this move started. There was a slight pause, Thursday, I guess it was, at 105, guys, but straight higher ever since.
Yeah, it's been, with the exception of when it was, that Wednesday pullback, you know, it's either a consolidation day or a breakout day, and even the consolidation days has been tradable. So you got to move the target a little bit. I mean, obviously yesterday, with it breaking that 109 for reverse and then kind of holding that area and closing exactly at 109, that set it up to be a consolidation dip buy at the 109 level. Now we've broken it out on the number. You don't know which way the number is going to go, but now that it did go higher, yesterday's top. So support to resistance, and if you play the trend and you don't have a previous support level, then 111 was yesterday's high. Dips into 111 is the first look for me on NVDA. There is another name, which we haven't mentioned. Well, there was a couple times maybe last week when we talked about ARM, but I can't remember the last time we were really, really excited that ARM was going to do something. It was a bit range bound, but ARM has, whoops, I just typed AMD when I meant to go ARM. But ARM has this 122 level, which it's now setting up for. So, you notice NVIDIA's already broken out that top from last week. ARM's got a double top here at 122, and we talk about things that have a gap. This could break. If it breaks the 122, you got a gap to about 130 in here that it's got room for. So only up a couple of points here today, but this one popped up on the radar when it made that double top yesterday. So NVIDIA back to that 111, yesterday's highs, want to play resistance turning into support, and I like this ARM 122. Nice consolidation around here. It's like the third day in a row. It might be able to test this. Looking for the break, though.
All right, what's up to everybody here? Thanks already, over our 3,000 views right now to the sticky note here, and some nice comments on there as well. Yeah, look, we have Nvidia right here right now, man. 108 if we dip. That's not happening. This was all written pre-PPI, as you note there. So I said, let's play VWAP off the open, and at the time we wrote this was 110.50. You need to stay long this name. Yesterday, we wanted to see what it was doing, and it showed us exactly what it wanted to do. It just wanted to keep going up, right? It did fade at the end of the day, which, by the way, we had this short as well in the NASDAQ there to end the day off that level. But now we've broken above this 110.50. So that's kind of why we liked it. It was, sorry to zoom back that out a little bit. That was where VWAP was at the time. But here's 110.50 right here. So, I mean, we really loved this pullback level. I still do, and I think we could wait for it. But now VWAP's at 112. So, I mean, 20 minutes, 15 minutes now before the open. Not going to sit here, but if this just bounces around a little bit off the open and we're able to get something around 112, that's a trigger spot for me. So we'll be going long on NVIDIA there today. I'm not even going to look, probably won't look anywhere else unless something happens. I'll look at other stocks, but it's NVIDIA for the chip space for me. Shorting Intel is basically free money, so you could do that if you wanted to as well. That's all the way down to 1950. And then we'll look to see AMD. If something goes awry with Nvidia, we'll look to AMD. But I want to trade the strength. We know what we're doing with it.
AMD needs to break 140.
Nvidia's been a top stock for me for a while. So I think, yeah, AMD will, little different story there.
All right, we'll mention this real quick. AIFF coming to the NASDAQ today, brand new listing. Firefly Neurosciences focused on AI innovation to help certain brain disorders, coming to the NASDAQ today via reverse merger and listing on the NASDAQ. So watch out for that. AIFF, we're going to have Chairman David Johnson on the show coming up on Thursday this week to talk a little bit about what they're doing at Firefly. So that'll be good. So watch out for that again. AIFF coming to the NASDAQ today. ONON, we touched on it briefly there early on this morning. Nice pop back to positive territory and then some, still holding nicely above $40 here.
Yeah, Brendo, again, just kind of reiterate what we talked about earlier, exceeding analysts' expectations on top and bottom line. The demand for their apparel and their shoes very strong, despite the fact that they're a premium brand. A high percentage of their sales are at full price. They're not discounting their products. They maintained their annual net sales guidance, so it was a little bewildering why they sold off. But supply chain here, interesting enough, has been an issue. We haven't been hearing that with other companies since the pandemic, since we got out of the pandemic, I should say. They're still having trouble with that for whatever reason.
Thoughts here, guys, on opportunities today for this one?
Sort of as we were mentioning, I don't know that 36 is going to come back into play on ONON. Feels relatively unlikely. I was just going to go over Bitcoin because I wanted to get a chance to do it. But if you pull out the daily chart, the thing we mentioned, this was a big, big level on the daily. So when it was holding just above on the earnings, it looked like that was going to be an opportunity. Then the number hits and you've already broken. It's gone now $5 from the 36 level. That's like, I said 10% earlier, that's now 14% away from that support. So I don't know how much I'm going to be looking at the stock. It's always a chance it breaks it out and there's some big trend up that gets to double digits that you can join a little bit later on. I think Nike 75.50 looks interesting for a breakout. That would be a local break like this on Nike if it wants to go through a double top. So I have that on the radar. I did want to, it's only 917, and did we even mention Bitcoin can't seem to get past 60,000 or hold above 60,000? Either way, the market holding highs right now for the time being, almost up a full percentage point. And when you pull up this 15-minute of Bitcoin, you still have these wicks where you're rejecting 60 and then rejecting 60 and then underneath. So you are trending back in. And that brings me to Mara, which was not a good day for Mara yesterday. Bitcoin wasn't doing much, and Mara was doing a lot of work to the downside. So Mara went down 10% from previous close, double bottomed at $15. So it's going to be short sell restricted today. And then you've got 15 I should say. Then you've got 15 on the bid right now. So a bit of a double bottom there yesterday. It was a flat bottom break, 15.5. You were able to get shorts there, shorting 47s and 48s in the afternoon. It goes all the way down to 15. 15 breaks. I think it's got a bit of a gap fill underneath that level when you pop the daily chart up of Mara. The big support's at $14. And it's been significant support at that price level. But as long as Bitcoin's not screaming past that 60 and in that downward channel, Mara's going to be under some pressure. So the 15 kind of the Alamo. If it holds a level, you don't have to fight it. If it starts failing underneath it, you look for the breakdown on MARA. Just remember, it was down 10%, so it is short sell restricted. On any failure through that level, you need an uptick to go short.
Yeah, we talked about Mara yesterday with some Michael Noss there on the show, on the recap show. That was fun. He's starting to look at it as well because of the short float that they have over there on Mara. But I think Coinbase tells the story here right now. I mean, you can see we're really much in a zone now. You know, we haven't broke through that 200 level there yet, so I don't really want to do anything until that happens. I'd like to short it if we do get a pop up there, but I don't really want to stand in the way of Bitcoin. It's just right now, like I said, with economic data coming out today, being a little bit better than expected with the cooler PPI number at 2.2 versus 2.3, that's not enough to really move crypto or anything like that. I don't really know what the next catalyst is going to be for that. Maybe, you know, political unrest. We talked about the election coming up as well. That could maybe rally Bitcoin a little bit. Gold has been super strong, as of late. So you can see GLD. You know, this could be a great opportunity to sort of diversify a little bit here as gold looks to break out again. And we were just doing this last week before we went on vacation. We had talked about gold being at the 50-period moving average, and then there's the bump up again for GLD, and it looks like it wants to break higher. So although crypto is holding out okay, gold is holding out much better than okay, making all-time highs right now, 228. So we're right here, right now. This is, of course, just the ETF, but an easy way to get a piece of that would be to go through this, or GDX, the gold miners as well. So I'm just here to give a couple different ideas and different plays to diversify the portfolio. So GDX as well, trying to get, I mean, it's going to take a second to load up here. I like Barrick Gold. I'm actually in Barrick Gold, GOLD. But this is a name here, GDX, you get them all above the 50 period, above the 200 period, and again, trying to break out. Not at the highs, but I think this one can run as well. So I think GDX and GLD better than crypto at the moment.
Market pulling in a little bit here for the S&P anyways. NASDAQ back to highs, better part of 4%. Here's Home Depot, 1.4%. In the red after it did go positive there ever so briefly, back below 350 now and coming back in. Yeah, they raised their full year 2024 sales guidance, but not enough to get this thing back to the upside this morning.
Yeah, and even though they beat on the top and bottom line, Brando, it's now 7 consecutive quarters with negative comparable sales. So they're basically looking at the same store. How did this store do last year? The ones that were open last year, and they haven't been doing well 7 quarters, as I mentioned. Consumers are saying what they're adopting a deferential mindset due to the higher interest rates and the tighter economic conditions. They are expecting a tailwind, though, if we do get the rate cuts, as a lot of what it's bought at their stores is financed over time. So we'll see.
Nice look on a higher time frame, guys, but trying to hold on to 340 here for Home Depot.
Yeah, I mean, it already bounced a little bit, but I think what I'll be looking at for Home Depot today, it's not really something that we'll trade, but you care how the market reacts to bellwether stock earnings. So when you have that same sort of sales poor guide there, okay, are they selling this one off? How bad do we think it's going to be? Well, the 200-period moving average is going to be that line for me. It's been pretty well respected outside of like a month here, like that May to June move. Ever since then, you close back above it, and it's been holding on pretty well. So you did fail it, obviously, on these earnings just now. That's 345. If it's able to close above that 345, it's probably finding some sellers here in the pre-market. I think that would be a good sign for them. And then some of the other retailers. I think Home Depot, good bellwether. Walmart, also a bit of a bellwether. And from a trading standpoint, kind of already went over Nike and that thing. But you can go over to Amazon, which still hasn't made that breakout. Got to get rid of that wick at some point. Still has not made that breakout, going all the way back to last week. I know Obi had mentioned like 169, 169, 169, 169. And then you had this 170 level. It's just primed for a break. But the thing about a breakout is you can sit there for like multiple days. Oh, I'm going to put a stop order if this breaks through the high. 170 breaks, we're going long. Well, if it never breaks, then you just have to be patient and wait another day. Because if it's just going to coil like this, eventually, if you do get the breakout that you're looking for, you just want to be involved in it. So another day where Amazon isn't busting through this top doesn't mean it's never going to happen. It just means it's requiring a little bit of patience with this retail name.
All right, I was looking at Walmart. Walmart's coming in a couple days, but I mean, I still do like Home Depot, obviously, as we look to trade up a little bit in the retail space, right? So I mean, this is going to be a well-class name for sure. Just looking at its PE right now, 23 versus industry average 24. So it's right there. Lowe's, again, a little cheaper than Home Depot, but down 1.25%. I'd rather wait to pull the trigger on any of these names. Let's wait for Walmart. Let's wait for Costco. Let's see Target, see what some of these names are doing, just to make sure that the sector is pretty strong. I mean, you're coming through, again, seasonality. I don't know what the next quarter is going to bring, the fall quarter into the winter months. Obviously, we'd like to see spring being a little bit bigger with some of the renovations going through. But yeah, for right now, 325. High mortgage rates should be helping Home Depot a little bit as people are unable to trade up into their house. So instead, they'll renovate their current spot. spend a little bit of money outside on decks and whatnot, fencing, so on and so forth. Home Depot, I mean, I don't need to explain to you what the company does. Their online presence is pretty strong. So I like Home Depot. Every time I go there, it seems to be pretty busy. I went there and bought a $3 light bulb recently. So I did my part there for Home Depot. So
doing God's work.
There we go. I'm trying. I'm trying. I do not own the
Someone
stock.
has to. I mean, if nobody does it, I mean, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point, though. It's like, you need a light bulb, I go to Home Depot. You probably get a nice light bulb from Walmart. I've actually bought light bulbs.
Of course you. Oh yeah.
As well. So
yeah.
I need to be in the light bulb business. How about you, Sharif?
Hey, all right, guys. Today we're continuing
Shares
with our
unavailable
earnings
from-
lessons. We're going to talk about earnings whispers and leaks today on the Midday How to Trade show. So if you're into that kind of thing, catch that with Jared and I at 11.
So I'm just securing my Mara because we here at Real Trading, sometimes it's easy to borrow, sometimes it's hard to borrow. But today, it looks like we have to pay for locates of Mara. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
All right, well, the
That's one of the
imbalances
benefits
just
here.
came out.
Oh, we have the imbalances out?
Yeah, let's just see what
Okay,
happens.
Let's see what
right
happens.
Here. There's Starbucks. I mean, wow, yeah, whoa, hello.
Yeah, that's the thing.
$90 right now for Starbucks. Oh, my God. I mean, we tweeted this out as soon as I saw this story. I was getting a coffee. I came on my phone. I tweeted it out. I thought it was huge news. We actually talked about this and possibly, you know, what this means for Starbucks. And then Chipotle was $52, and I was saying that this is probably a bad story for them. Down to 51 right now. 52 was the high. That's when we were sort of talking about it. So we'll see if this can fade out a little bit there for Chipotle. But for me, man, Starbucks,
Still on the go.
I did not sell any, but I think this is a sell level. All right, there's Mara with a big sell coming through, as well as Neil's trying to get those shares, which may not be available maybe. So we'll have to wait to see if it does come available. But look at Starbucks, everybody. It is a chicken dinner winner. They have like little chicken sandwiches for lunch and things like that. But Chipotle right now is licking their wounds. They lose their leader, and it goes right into Starbucks' pocket. And shareholders right there, pay Brian Nickel whatever he wants. You just gained 17, 18% there for basically handing the keys over. There it goes, man. Huge move to the upside. I always think you fade these plays. I don't think you fade it like as in day trading right now. Let's wait to see where it stops. But this, you know, day one news seems to be a little excited here. Let's see some interviews. Let's figure out the plan of action moving forward and what this does mean for Starbucks. But hell yeah, this was my pick a couple weeks ago, Starbucks. And we get it, right? We had, look, I mean, we talked about buying it because it was at key levels. We talked about buying this name because of activism. Yeah, not Activision, activism. And that's been happening. Starboard in there as well. We got that story yesterday. Good day for Starbucks shareholders today. Congratulations. Nvidia dropping into 112. I like ye a lot, but let's make sure that the market wants to go with it, because the market's ripping here to up over 1% right now, which is fantastic. And Nvidia turning itself on its head a little bit now back in. So be patient. I do not have any bids right now. Apple as well. That's continuing the momentum in the market. We said this yesterday. Apple and Nvidia are the two names that I definitely want to be long today. They're ideas number 1 and number 2 on the note. And then also Tesla, my number 1 short idea. And yeah, I mean, that's been paying off for the short. But right now, not at that 200 level, which I think is worth a look. So we wrote down 200. We don't want to go. 203 is not like the level we're waiting for. That's just the level that until we break above that level, I feel like you want to do the short. And then a name that we didn't talk about, and I'll give it over to Neil for some ideas, was Palantir here. It already broke through third. Oh, you're going to do that too? Yeah, no, it's fine. No, you can talk about it. I was just going to look at it at 30. That's all. I mean, it was a problem yesterday.
Yeah. No, I'm only laughing because what are the odds? Like, I was just pulling up Palantir.
Those are the only 4 names I have.
No.
So I just went over all 4.
No, it happens, man. Like Palantir, I don't want to say it has to be on watch, but after the reversal at that $30 level yesterday on that break, we thought maybe 29 to be a bounce, but here's afternoon resistance at 29.90, which means if we regain 30, let it fly. So, you know, you wait for your pitch in the zone. I like it when previous resistance turns into support, but I'd like to see that come back in. I did just get shorts on Mara. We had to just ask for less. It's sometimes that's how it works, but it is what it is. And you already mentioned Apple. I like Apple for a long as well. And then ARM is the one that okay, maybe it gets there, maybe it doesn't. It's at 120, the 122 breakout. Not really doing a heck of a lot, but sometimes ARMs moves really, really quickly. We're likely to be on Nvidia early, but if you see ARM pop up, then know that it's made some kind of a gigantic move into the upside and breaking that 122. So Nvidia oddly is dipping here as the market's about to open in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Dara.
All right, so we are now open. We'll watch out for Apple. Looks like Apple is taking almost immediately this 220 area. Just ripped up to 219 and change. Nvidia is pulling back a little bit here as well. We'll watch out for Apple because Apple's at this 220 area as we speak. So something definitely to have a quick little look at now. I'll try to buy a little bit of Nvidia maybe. There we go. Down here. So, oops, sorry, that's Apple, my bad. Oh, nope. There, why am I not clicking over? There's Nvidia. So we are long now, Nvidia 212, 20s. Let's get a little bit more here if we can. Okay, so nice little move up for Nvidia. We just bought off that 112 VWAP area. So Apple just broke through. Okay.
No. Apple's at 220.
At 220, yeah.
At
so
220.
That's a big level
it hasn't
right
actually
here.
broken.
We're long Nvidia and really killing this one so far. So here goes again, another winner to start the day with Nvidia. 80 cents in the money so far on NVDA.
Yeah, so Apple's at 219.70, just got to like 80s. Looks like it wants to hunt for that 220 level. If we get to 50 bucks, I'll let you know on Chipotle. That would be where I'm looking SSR bounce potential there. So we're locked and loaded. Mara did just break. Okay, it broke 15, but it's, as I said, it's short sell restricted. So we have to be a little bit careful with that one. Short sell restricted, we might not be able to get the fill on that. Apple just broke 220.
We took it.
So I got that one long here through 220, got 220.10. Let's see how far we're going to go.
All right, here we go, guys. Big time trade alert. Let's go. Bang, 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 bang. We have Apple long right now. It's a big one. Let's see how far we can go to the upside right now. Come on, Apple. Push it, baby. Nice trade right here. As we've got this stock on board right now. And you know what we're trying to do right here. We're trying to hit more shares. And Neil, guess what? More shares. So here we go. Nice little upside move there for Apple. Nice trade here. As you know, Neil and I both indicated that move was happening. So we'll go do deuces right now today so far with Nvidia 40 cents in the money, Apple right now with both 40 cents in the money. I don't know what price you got. I crossed up and got
I got 10s.
Oh, I got 19s right there. So on more shares, 9 cents is going to hurt, but we're not hurting at all because here we go. It's a beautiful move up there for Apple. Bang, ring the register one more time. We did it yesterday. We're doing it again here today, Neil. It's a nice move. It's $1 in the money for Nvidia as well, starting to pump upside right now. So Apple having a little breather at 221. And there it is, man. Yo, I'm coming back to London. Book my plane ticket.
Let's go, Apple. I love that one. Already at the 221 on a dime. So I took my 2 scalp legs out there. Obviously, Mara, as I said, you know, this one's going to be short sell restricted. It broke 15, went all the way to 14.75. It was a very quick move down there. You're able to get like a couple of points, but I didn't get picked up until the way back in. So we had to sit on the offer, look to get a fill on this one. It was pretty much an easy break if you got a fill. But short sell restricted means you can't hit that bid without an uptick. So I catch it on the way back in. Good luck to anybody if you manage to grab that one early. Do like some Nvidia. I'm gonna go back over to ARM for a quick second. But CMG just got to that $50 level. It's $50. It's short sell restricted. It's down over 10%. This would be the only place where I'm looking for a bounce because it's that even dollar level here on CMG.
Randy, we're doing it again, man. And again, and again. And one more. All right. All right, here we go. It's Apple, it's Nvidia. Any more of those bananas hanging around? All right, go see if you don't mind. If you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay. I mean, well, you know. All right, fine, banana first. All right, fine, banana first. Banana first, talk later. All right, so Apple's actually, I mean, we're super happy with it. I mean, those are great outs over there, Neil, and it's back up to 220.50 right now, and it's not really moving around as much as I had hoped for right now. So we'll wait now in the 80s, see if we do get that last little bump up, but unfortunately, we only have 20% left of our Apple trade as we get right back into highs. But like I said, man, we're Machine Gun Kelly on that one. Like, we get filled and we just blast it out because P&L is P&L, and that one was a big one. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye on CXAI here. This is CX app. They reported earnings yesterday after the close, missed across the board, but they did announce this multi-year agreement with Google Cloud for an AI partnership. So nice look here for CXAI, $22.5 million market cap, about 7.9 million share float, and about 2.8% of that float is shorted. So CXAI, former runner as well on watch here, guys.
The deal with Google is usually going to be a bit of a good thing. CMG came right back through that 50 level, said that would be next. We got 50 10s. So both fills have been at the 10 level on an even dollar break. So we're able to get that 50-10. It tries to get into VWAP at 50-60 for that move. It is SSR. That's the impetus for the trade because the short sell restricted. If we get to 51, we're going to get out of that one. No reloads on this. It's either bounce and go or don't go at all. So we're going to be back over. Apple's holding now above 221.
Yes,
so that one's looking pretty clean on a breakout. Nvidia still waiting for the 119. That's the zone I wanted for a dip buy. If we don't get that, trend would be just holding on to VWAP in there, and I promised I would look at ARM. But with Nvidia coming down, you might be shocked to see that ARM has not broken $122. So no breakout trade for me on ARM. Again, breakouts have to actually happen for you to take that trade. Nike did make the 750 break as we were on other stocks. So didn't have a stop order for the breakout on Nike. I'll have to look for a dip buy back into that previous break level.
All right, there we go, guys. This Dollar Club member, obviously there with Apple as we go. And we're still in Nvidia, so let's wait to see because this name is falling down. Oh, thank you, Randy. Randy brings the bananas and hit and run on the banana right there. All right, so yeah, 111 or so coming down in for Nvidia. That could be an issue for us. We're long at 112, but we've been sort of pumping it out. Like that just fell in there. We talked about getting that VWAP in and around 112. Should have paid a little bit more attention to it. But like I had mentioned before, this is the show. And welcome to it because, you know, it's Apple and it is fan-damn-tastic. Man, do we like some Apple up here right now. Let's get some more out at 221 and change. It's funny because I'd mentioned to Mr. B. Wickens before about, wow, like how some of these stocks, this is before I left, and we had sort of mentioned, like, you know, maybe some of these stocks have had their day, including Apple was up in that 225 area. And then, like, what a move down. Forget about what happened, you know, last week, but this fell into 215, 216. It was like, are we getting back up here? And then today, again, the number one idea. So P&L number one on, I mean, we don't have to keep talking about this every day, but it's Nvidia and Apple. The two trades that I have on board right now has blasted me right now to almost the level we were at yesterday, and it's 937. And yesterday was a good day, as we had mentioned. So here we go, another 40 cents there, Sharif, on Nvidia as that goes up again. So there we go. We're long at 112. We just got out at 112.50 for Nvidia. We're long Apple right now at 220.40. It's at 221. It is your sticky note trades of the day. Both long, both the top two names on this board. So that's how we trade. We take the notes that we make. We talk about them live on the show. We put our money where our mouth is. And that's the end of that one. So let's put it on the board right there, Neil. Great morning here today. Deuces for deuces. And we're ready to go. We're ready to go. We're ready to go every day.
Every single day, and that's what you got to be ready to do. And if you like the show, here at Real Trading, you can trade anything you want. There's everything out there for you. But sometimes it's just as simple as the two biggest companies in the world. Check that. I haven't double checked to see where Microsoft is lately, so maybe it isn't. I have no idea. We'll see what we get over here in that NVDA. CMG, I told you, there's no reload on a play like this. It is an SSR bounce. It bounces. It either holds VWAP or it doesn't. It didn't hold VWAP, you get out flat. So it's still heading in down. It's 11%. So the next even dollar level, we'll try the same thing. Apple is still continuing its hold of the 221. Whether we can dip buy or not, we'll have to see about that. Not looking like it's going to be in play. I don't know if you've mentioned Starbucks here yet, but Starbucks holding trend, but just did this rejection candle or whatever you want to call it. That's usually a bit of a reversal. Got to $94. We're going to have an eyeball on this for a mean reversion play at some point, but not just yet. Got to let Starbucks calm down. Looking like it's going to be a nasty one. I did like Rivian, but I don't think we're going to get a flat bottom break on Rivian. Rivian's starting to break higher, so I have to be patient. If it's either under support or resistance or breaking this low here, everything else is not something I want to touch with a 10-foot pole. Not going to fight the trend on something this early in the day.
Guys, remember about 30 minutes ago when he came over to me and we were talking about Chipotle, and I said this is horrible news for Chipotle, and I expected it to be lower than it was right there. There's Chipotle right there. I mean, that's a call. Let's go with that. I mean, we said that this is, not going to be great there for Chipotle. Obviously, we put the damage on the other board there with both Nvidia and Apple, but I mean, that right there, honestly, down 11%. Bye-bye, Chipotle. Glad we had not that we had not gone long. I wish we had gone short on Chipotle there. Lots of money to be made everywhere right now. But there's another one. There's Starbucks right now. We're 20 bucks in the money on our recent buy here on Starbucks. I mean, what a move up, man. And there, we knew that. As soon as this story came across, it was an instant retweet for me. Knew this was going to be a big day there for Starbucks, and it continues to go higher. You just bounced off of 94 a couple times. Could be a short coming through in and around that 94 area as we keep bouncing off there. I don't know if this is a 21% story, though, or not here for Starbucks. So I think we'll try a little bit of a short right now into this. I'll try to build it up if we can get into 93.50. This is not what we've been doing recently, so I don't want to go too insane with what we're trying to do here. But I'll try it. Little bit of a short here, counter playing on Starbucks. Just watching out for this 94. Obviously, it is the high. If it breaks it, it breaks it. We're not going to put a bunch of risk in on this name at all. So we'll watch out for that. Apple is pulling back a little bit here. Okay, here goes Starbucks. Looks like it's going. See, it's going to take it. So we're already punching out at 94. So there was a try that didn't work out for us right there. But hey, man, in order to make money, you got to try to risk a little bit there. And right there, Starbucks taking out day's high, it looks like anyways. And we're out, almost. We're out of it when it breaks 94, which apparently is now. There it goes. Bye-bye, Starbucks, 294. Wow, what a great stock that is to wake up to today. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on Microcloud Hologram, HOLO. This one is now a penny stock trading around 30 cents. It was running semi-frequently earlier, if you go back to February, and this one currently getting quite a bit of social media attention. Yesterday, after the close, HOLO announced that they received a minimum bid price notice from the NASDAQ. We've got a short float of about 5.9%, so keep an eye on HOLO getting that minimum bid price notice and lots of social media attention, guys.
All right.
Holo. So we didn't get any bounce play on Nike at the previous breakout price of 75.50. So unfortunately, that breakout got away from us. You're usually going to hit one break at a time or one trade in that moment, and this happened right away, just catching that bid. So VWAP's going to sit up here at 76. Going to go for a dip buy off the 76 level here on Nike. We'll see if we get it, but I want to play with the trend. You can see it's going up. There was that when we were talking about ONON multiple times this morning for reasons. Nike just set up nicely on a breakout that I liked a little bit better. So I like Apple here if we can hold on to VWAP. I don't love the way that it rejected 221, but if we can catch a bounce off it, I am going to like it. This market is trying to give back a little bit, and when we start going down, I always want to double check. If you like it, if a stock is usually trending to the downside, what's available? I went over to look at Intel, and Intel's screaming to the upside. Well, for Intel, this is screaming. 3% up, $20 is just sitting here as resistance. I'll be patient, let it get there, and see what happens. And I said myself, too, in addition, I know you're in it, but I said this is going to be a mean reversion type play on Starbucks at some point. It just double tapped 94 and pulled back. So those are a couple of aggressive wicks. I think this is going to be a short back to VWAP.
All right. Yeah, good. I mean, we're in this right now. I'm going to put a little bit of a bid there. Let's start capturing some of this. Let's go right now, Starbucks. All right. So we did get stopped out at 94. We talked about that, but we got right back in there. Now let's see if we can get it out here at 92.50. I just put a bid there. Yes, it goes down, down, down right now for Starbucks. Good little play there on that move back up. I like that call right there. So we are in that. Yep, good one. Let's see what happens now. All right. And then guess what? We did this. We're reloaded right there for Apple. So we buy some 220s, baby, and get a little bit more out here into the 30s. But the market is still hanging out, and Apple's kind of falling back in. So not in love right now with that call, but we'll have to wait for it. We're going to get out if it breaks through 220, give it a little bit of room. But in and around that level is a pause for concern for me, so we'll wait for that. Nvidia, I did think about reloading this one. I don't really have a target to get out of this. I mean, I think if you're going to play it, that's that 111.50 right there. Could be a level. So if that comes in, we will look to play off of that 111.50 area. I do have a bid down there at 112.01. For some reason. And we do have an offer up at 113 to see if that will come out right now. Okay, Starbucks now pushing back up to the upside. So some of those reloads were good to get out of, but right now back in trouble just a little bit here for SBUX. We'll take a little bit more shares, few more shares right there and then try to bid them back out. So we just reloaded that stock up there at 30.
It's liquidity grabbing this level.
And yeah, man, it's definitely liquidity grabbing something here.
Sebastian asked about this when I say that a liquidity grab means it's breaking a key price level, doing a lot of volume above it in this case, or below it, it could also be, before immediately rejecting it. So I'm talking about like between 93 and 94, it's breaking the level, getting up into the 25, 30s in here, and then flushing right back into the downside. So Apple just bounced. Nike just dipped into 76. So we got the Nike long. Let's go over to Nvidia.
Another small cap I'd watch here is going to be Mawson Infrastructure Group, MIGI. This one has a catalyst from yesterday morning, actually, signing this co-location agreement with regards to its AI and HPC business. So in the computing space, this agreement has the revenue potential of $285 million over a 6-year period. So nice look for MIGI, looking for this day 2 move. Also worth noting here, I'm seeing Elliott Investment coming out here now after this Starbucks announcement, saying that they are, quote, expressing confidence in Starbucks following the news that former Chipotle CEO Brian Niccol is being appointed the new CEO of Starbucks. They're saying that this is a, quote, transformational step forward, and they are pledging continued engagement with the Starbucks board. So note coming out here from activist investor in SBUX, Elliott Investment, guys.
All right, there goes Nvidia right now through 113. We talked about waiting for 113. Let's go right now. It is a face slapper of a day. One more time here for us, guys. The only stock that will have a red mark on, and that is temporary, is Starbucks. We're trying to go 3 for 3. There goes Apple again on the reload. Another one. That's what it is right now. We'll props it up, man. That's big trades today, big trade alert on Apple and on Nvidia. Nvidia is now $1.05 in the money. Apple was really, I mean, I know we have a banana here. You know, I mean, maybe I should have asked for an apple, but at the same time, man, that was an absolutely fantastic play and a motivating play there through 220. Not only that, we also get the move back on Apple through 220. So I feel like that is worth a chomp of the banana.
Yes, sir. And they're still doing it on SBUX. Quick change of plan, though, and that's play the scalp range. So if it's going to do this grab, 93 to 93.5, and then underneath, 93 to 92.5, take some out in front of the half, get some out when it goes to that 92.5. Instead of looking for just a clean VWAP retracement, going to look for better fill price in the $0.50 range up here, and then try to grab it out in front of 92. So gonna go scalping on that name. Nike was the new position for me with it bouncing off of VWAP here. So respecting VWAP right now on Nike. Broke out highs. Now you're holding VWAP into a 96 half zone. We'll go reloading in front of that $96 level on this retail name, going higher and higher. You gotta quickly go over to Mr. ARM, because it's about to break out the top. So here we go. Double top, check that, maybe triple top if you include the open. 120.5 ARM about to break those highs.
All right. Yeah, we almost just got some more out there on Starbucks in the O2s area here. Let's put a bid. Okay, there we go. Okay, Starbucks. Okay, Starbucks. Let's go, man. I mean, yeah, this is what happens. Hopefully, get down now. Immediately, Starbucks. What a good. Okay, we're loaded up, man. We, like I said, if we're in something, we're in it to make money. Let's go, Starbucks. I mean, we all are. Let's go to the downside right now. 93 and change. I am bidding 92 and change there. Wow, what a big move there for Starbucks. We are now green on that Starbucks name. So that is another one right there. Let's start ringing some registers upside here on some of these other names, though. Nvidia, I'm going to let this one roll. We only have 10% left. Apple, we have a little more left, but still looking for that play as well there on Apple. So Yeah, so far so good there. Nice little out. We'll see if it can bounce off that 220. We have VWAP here at 219 and change for Apple. Apple's not trading the way, although it's going to be my P&L number one today pretty easily. I am a little bit nervous about this breaking, so we're going to wait and not get too many more shares here, on AAPL. So let's just let this one settle down a little bit. Hopefully we can get back upside. We're waiting at 220.50 for Apple, and I think we might as well put a little bit. We're short at 94 here on Starbucks. We'll probably get a little bit more out here if we can at 93.50, and then think about reloading a little bit of this to the top side there for Starbucks and looking to get out of some. Come on, Apple, just a couple more pennies, and we are out of. Oh, that's us. Yes,
50s.
sir. That was us right there at 50 on Apple. So props that one up.
Yeah, I took 48. So there was actually a seller at 48 that I just took on the offer. So it's breaking higher. You're still going to go higher. ARM did make that break at the local high. 122 is a resistance spot here. If it breaks that, it almost looks like an ad zone to me. So you had a double top breakout. If it breaks 122, I'm going to get out of this long and look to enter either a dip buy off 122 or a breakout past 122. So ARM joining the party up 3%. AMD, just double checking if it's broken 140. It has not broken 140 yet. Nvidia is trying to break this high. It did just take the high a second ago and pulling back a little bit here. So if we do get a dip, I didn't get 111s. That's a bad wick. It never actually happened, but we're not going to get to that price anymore because I'm going to have to look for VWAP. And thank you so much for the super chat. Willis Addison there, the put on Chipotle to the downside. It's still looking rather nasty. I still like every single obvious SSR level, but until it gets to 45, 50 was the one. It was the first one that came into play. Went about 1% before making another move into the downside. Adara, what do you have for us?
This part of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade? Always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
All right. Thank you, Benzinga Pro. Thank you, Adara. And I mean, thank you so much for that super chat. We actually talked about that when this was at $52, and we were definitely a Redsville there on Chipotle. So I hope you took some of that and were able to make a decent amount on that, which you clearly, I don't know if you did or not. Thank you for the super chat. There's that video right now. That's $1 in the money. We just had $1 on Starbucks, did not take it. Let's wait to see where Starbucks wants to go from here. I hope lower. And then here's Tesla. I did miss it. It did go all the way up to that 203 level. But we're in it right now. We're going to put a bid here on Tesla. We're short right now at 40s. If we can get something out at 203, we'll take 40 cents right there out of 20%. There it comes. Did we get it? We're at 01s, I believe. Oh, no, we did get it, didn't we? Yes, we did. So there's the move down there for 203. So nice little 40-cent trade right there. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. We're trying to go 4 for 4 to start with you guys today. There it goes. Yes, let's go. Another one, another hot dog cannon happening right now. Can we make $1 here on this Tesla call? Will it pull back into 202? I think it will. Let's go 202. Let's go 202.20 and see if we get a little greedy with that one. But Neil, it's another one on right now. There's another short for Tesla. Another 50 cents in the money on that. 50 cents on Starbucks. $1.30 on Nvidia and 20 cents on Apple. How goes it over there?
High of day on Nike here, so we got to reload on Nike at 76. It's not 75 half, but you can take one breakout or maybe two at the same time. We said ONON might not be a trade. I haven't looked at it. It's entirely possible when ONON is doing something. But when you get this breakout on Nike, finally making an earnings bottom, the Olympics are done. I think 77 is a logical spot that it can get to next. All right, Apple's pulling back in another time here, so on from one to the other. The 220 level is also VWAP. So 220, VWAP, reloading 220, but it's putting in lower highs. I don't love that, but as long as it holds 220, I think Apple should be good to go. ARM, we got another leg out when it couldn't break that 121 a second time. So still looking for that long to work out here to the upside on ARM. As mostly everything's going, I feel like we missed something, and it might have been a little bit of Palantir. But no, it's a holding VWAP, but not really doing too much. Never mind. I didn't zoom out far enough. Palantir is gone.
Boom. I like
Wow.
that. And look what else has got
30
right there.
break. Oh my goodness.
There's another one, another dollar winner for everybody there on Tesla. I'm sure when I was gone, there was tons of dollars, tons of winners, but we're back and there's more now because we just put on $4 winners here today. We had Apple was a dollar winner, Nvidia was a dollar winner, Starbucks was a dollar winner, and Tesla as well. And there we go, Starbucks reloaded on this one. Let's see how far we want to go to the downside now on Starbucks. We just got 94s right there. Let's get some out of the 80s. Let's get some out in the 60s. And then if we drop lower than that, then fine. But Starbucks could still come out as it's breaking out through the highs right now. There goes 94 again. We're going to give this one to 94.50. We did reload this, but again, it's been a pretty good name for us. Nothing wrong with it. We just shorted that first pop through 94, which was wrong. But since then, it's been right. Oh, man, there's another fade. We are at day's high right now and absolutely rocking here. Look at Tesla with that. I said 220 incoming for Tesla. Sharif, it's another dollar right there for that play as we continue to make things happen here live at Trader TV. So boom, there it is again, Neil. It's another move down for Tesla. Tesla now $1.50 in the money, my guy. We're starting to get going right now, man. It's a big one again. It's a big one. It's a big one. We bring hopefully the good vibes and hopefully the good trades, but they're right here right now. It's Tesla and it's Starbucks. We love this job. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Starbucks is just still doing the same thing. 94, 94, reject underneath it. But until we get underneath 93, it's not a go zone. For myself, I'm looking for under 93 back into 91, 92. I heard Tesla. I went over to I like Rivian Short. We already talked about this one. And it did get close to that 14 level, but it's not there yet. When we get to 14, that's where I want to have that curl. ARM is pulling back in, so the breakout on ARM might not get to that 122. Here's a dip. I'm not at VWAP just yet. I want to see VWAP try to hold here on ARM. That'll be $120, so no reloads for me on this until it holds VWAP or gives me a higher low. The breakout trade's come and gone on ARM. Now I'm looking for that dip buy action if we can grab it. So S-Box just got to 93. I got a bid down here, 92, 20-something,
What a trade.
if we get another push back into the downside. So Apple looking okay. Nike, we still want to go dip buy hunting at VWAP, which is about to pull right back in here for us. That's been a good one trend to the downside. Upside, I should say.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Yeah. Hope you're enjoying the show. We're at the high spot we're at all day today so far. Yesterday was big day. Today's bigger. It's 9:56. Starbucks, we're trying to get some bids down here. I mean, we've reloaded it numerous times and been getting out numerous times. So that's going to be a good trade. Our Tesla, ho-hum, I mean, this one really worked out for us. I actually made a keystroke error there. I went short instead of bidding. So that's why my price is slightly worse than this 203.50 area that we had initially. But let's just see if that one wants to keep going to the downside right now. And then Starbucks, I don't know. I was bidding 15s here. Did I get those? No, I did not. Why don't we just, Nvidia right now is really rocking. Again, trade idea number 1 today. So the top 2 P&L names here on the show today are going to be Nvidia and Apple, right? And those are the top 2 names here on the sticky note. So it just goes, stick with your plan, whether or not it's your plan's Mara, Chipotle, whatever your plan is, stick with it, do the research, and have that confidence in your plays to put on shares, to trade it, and to see what winds up happening. And that's exactly what we did here today. Apple right now, 70 cents in the money, off 220 reload as well. Nvidia, if we're not confident we don't have these reloads, it's not even like this is multiple fills at the same time. You know, these are different times. Like Apple comes in 10 minutes later back into that area. But we like the stock. We like that play. You know, Tesla here, this one's starting to get upside. If this breaks 04s, we can get out of this name. This is not even a problem. Well, you know what? Let's take a little more short. We've already emptied out a little bit of this. Oopsies. Let me make sure we get some shares first. All right, we'll take some 65s. Now 70s. Okay, so now we're in Tesla. If it breaks 204, guess what? It's hands off because my break level is
breaking
there.
204.
It's trying to. I mean, that's the high of the day
no
right there. But we are now short Tesla right now at 50s. So let's wait to see. Here it comes right back up to the upside. Getting a little bit nervous for sure about it because we are trying to trend a little bit higher. We thought that 203 was going to be a spot.
Apple high day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, man. Apple dollar in the money right now at the high of the day. And oh, yeah. Nvidia. $2 in the money right now for NVDA. So needless to say, we don't need to keep tuning this, but this is trading. And you guys want winners. You guys want people to prove to you that day traders can make money. I mean, this is what we're doing. This is why I'm talking to you guys about what we're putting up and some of these numbers. You can see them all live here. All my trades documented, and right here you can ask me about any one of them. And there goes Tesla right now to the south side. Let's see if we can get some bids. We're in the money on this one, but this is only 15 cents.
Yeah, as we said, I mean, if Tesla's breaking those highs and Rivian can't get to those highs, then this is going to be a head and shoulders short for me, or a VWAP break. So I thought we'd be at 14 if Tesla went higher. Unfortunately, Rivian doesn't want to get up to resistance, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. So before we go to happening now, I'm looking VWAP break, or we get that short off that high of the day. Going to hold through the high on Apple, see if he can get to that 222 zone over there. Let's go over to happening now with Adara.
Both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are up on the day quite nicely in what's been a pretty exciting morning for the markets. NASDAQ slightly stronger here than the S&P 500, up over 1% right now. We did get some PPI data coming lower than expected across the board here and lower than the previous print. So nice look here for PPI for the month of July. Stay tuned for tomorrow when we'll get CPI, which is the more closely watched print. So lots going on here for these markets today to start what's going to be a pretty interesting week with regards to inflation and a few earnings on watch. Be as well aware here, one of the bigger stories coming out this morning is the story with SBUX, Starbucks, and Chipotle, CMG. Chipotle here down almost 13%. Its CEO and chairman, Brian Niccol, now named as the new Starbucks CEO and chairman here as of September 9th. So interesting look here for CMG and XBUX, both of those on watch. Google on watch here as well, heading into later today around 1 p.m. They're expected to have their Made by Google event for their Pixel 9. So watch out for GOOGL and Alphabet. Last but not least, we have On Holding, ONON. This one chopping around a little bit right now, slightly positive on the day after their earnings report. Beating on sales here, but slightly missing on adjusted earnings per share, guys.
ONON. I said at one point I was going to look at that stock, and then we just never did. But looks like we can't get VWAP. On a related note, can't seem to get VWAP again on Nike here, as it's holding 76. It's holding and riding VWAP. At least a couple of times we were able to get it. This time we're not getting that 76.10, it looks like, is turning into VWAP. All right. So if Tesla wants to continue this, it's now breaking. Tesla's breaking the high of the day. And Rivian is not moving at all. So I thought we'd be shorting tops here. That was the plan of action, would be shorting Rivian in sympathy to Tesla. No break of VWAP. We'll let it be, just got to be patient, man. I got to let it try to get to this high again before looking for that fade play here in Rivian. It's up 3%, but I like the fact that it's a lower high for this while Tesla is clearly breaking out to the upside. And I'm not saying that they're the same thing, but adjacent. And if there's relative weakness in one, then I want to be shorting that one if we get the opportunity here in TSLA. So Nike's still working. I do want to go back over to ARM, as ARM did hold VWAP with a couple of wicks, but the sellers still pretty engaged. You got the futures trying to pull off highs. I'm going to be patient with it, not necessarily jump right back in. You did have that break work. Initially, Starbucks does not hold on to 94, so unfortunately, I'm going to put some red tape on Starbucks, as we had some scalp trades. Scalp it in, breaks the high, get out. Breaks the high, fades it, scalps some, but I told you I was holding for VWAP in there, so I had like a third of it out, and then it breaks a fresh high one more time. So we did have it off of this high, but it's still trending in. Just have to be patient. It's going to be a very, very steep move up, obviously, but a lot of that was done when the news came out. It is grinding in a very, very tight range, relatively speaking. So going to look for a trend break here on Starbucks. There you go. Going to look for a trend break at some point. Just sort of connect the dots and see when it reverses. But got to pick your spot. Got to be willing to take it out at that high if it does fly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We're waiting for that 94.50 high there. All right, so guys, just real quick. this is what real trading's about, right? I mean, this is why we do this. Play off VWAP. We talk about playing off VWAP for Nvidia, right? So right now, Nvidia is $2 in the money, and guess what we played off of? VWAP. So there's the call, exactly as we had sort of thought. We could get that VWAP play. We were there. It was the very first fill that we got today. And then we just supported that level. Now up through 114. Giddy up goes Nvidia. But there's a nice, I was going to say, if we break that level, we want to get out of it. So we'll have to watch out. Tesla, still a very positive name for us, but it did break higher there. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Starbucks trying to break, and it's Nvidia, sorry, where I need to put that order on. What about just breaking through 113.78? Our stop didn't even trigger there, so hold on a second. 113.74 break, and we will get out of Nvidia. Starbucks just pushed 94.50 right there. So we'll see. We did get out of that trade. Looks like it wants to grab 95s right now to the upside. So we'll put on a little bit more. Well, I mean, that's let's go, man. Got to get that Raider Trader guy back on here. I mean, we talked about this $74 on Starbucks for days, weeks, months. And there it goes. So that was a nice little trade there for us. Lucky, obviously. We didn't think that they would get that, but we knew what they needed, and they knew what they needed as well and got it there with the change.
Dell went too.
And yeah, Dell was upgraded by Katina Capital yesterday. And right now today, so yesterday Dell upgraded, and now today up 5%. So there it is. There is, thank you for bringing that up, Neil. There is another one.
That was a super chat.
Yeah, and you're welcome, super chat. There it goes, man. Dell, again, from yesterday and from this morning. A name I like, Dell, continues its move higher, guys.
So with that plan, I said I was going to hold Apple through that high of the day break, and you know, when it did, for a second there, it did do a lit grab above. I threw my trail into the previous high. 222 was a target zone, so it tags 221.75-ish. This is 222 in here. You got to go all the way back to like the 2nd of August, the last time you're at that level. So when it tagged that and pulled back underneath the previous high, I got out. If we get VWAP, great, but I mean, that's feeling a little bit unlikely the where market's going. So we're just in Nike at this moment. And let me go back over quickly. Tesla is now out and about, but still, Rivian is not budging. So I thought this would be like Tesla's going to run and we're going to short this off the high of the day, but it can't seem to get past this 1380. So if I want to get this one short, might just have to look at this lower high. Those are real wicks. It's kind of just wicking this 1380 lower high level. If it does it again, I'll look for a liquidity grab somewhere in this range to grab like 78s or 79s, break 80s, fail back underneath, and I want to be short. So Nike's the only thing we're left in temporarily, but still want to be dip buying the next opportunity in Apple. You know, I don't think it's going to be VWAP, so we'll have to look for something on trend.
All right, we're short Starbucks. We just took some out there at O's, was it? Did we get that 04 print there? Yes, we did. We got 94.04. So a nice little 50 cents there on Starbucks. We'll wait to see now if we can really fade back into the 50-period moving average or so there on SBUX. Tesla's trying to slow down a little bit, but not doing a great job of it. 205 right now. Wow, monster move up there for Tesla. We didn't say look at 203. I mean, that came in. We're up. I mean, we're up on Tesla. Tesla will be a top stock today, even though we got stopped out right there because we took a lot of profit when it came back in. I think that's the name of the game. There is to take profits on trades. Our Nvidia did come out womp womp. That sucks. That broke that 113.80 area, and we did get out. So we have to. That's kind of sucky there. We missed out on 50 cents on that play, but that's okay. We'll continue to look for other plays coming in right now as well. Mara trying to be stronger, and again, we already stamped, man. We stamped Chipotle as the short. Wow. As that keeps going, we should have just stuck with our guns on the Chipotle short and less worried about the Starbucks long is fine, but yeah, that Chipotle short was definitely the call there. So we definitely missed that one. But there it goes through $48. I don't want to buy this name anytime soon. Chipotle in big time trouble, in my opinion, here as they lose their leader, and it just floats right over to Starbucks. So Starbucks right now 94.50. That was the key level there. There it goes through 95. This name is just going, gone. We will also be red on this name because it looks like, here it goes, charging through 95 right now. It's not going to stop. So our stop order is already there to get out once it breaks through 95. There goes Starbucks up, up and away. So you know, we'll be red on it, but wow, really, really happy with what this means for the long term, but not happy for this day trade. As there it goes, it's going to break through 95 momentarily. So watch out now as Starboard, everybody's stamping the approval. There it goes. The approval.
Lid
did
grab.
It go? I don't
Wait a minute, no
know.
stickies, my bad.
Right there, my stop order did not trigger there. So oops, I'll have to get over to that and figure out why that didn't trigger. But I think, did it break there? I don't even know.
I have it breaking and getting to 95.14 and then slamming right back underneath. Sorry, guys, my chart's on Palantir because I was just going to mention Palantir, and then Starbucks got to $95. So, you know, you move over to execute, but I don't have it on the chart for you guys, unfortunately, because I was just going to talk about Palantir. So I got at this 94 level. It just lit grabbed above 95 to 95.14. When it came back underneath, I re-engaged with a stop at the local high. So I got 88s with a stop at above 15s. That'll be about 30 cents worth of risk depending on what the slippage ends up being. If it shows some more weakness, I might find a place to be able to add to it. So we're in the Starbucks, but that's still been churning to the upside. I'm looking mean reversion on this play, but I want that false breakout to be the reason that we get into it. Talking about Palantir, you're not going to catch every single trade. We're able to eventually get Nike after missing the breakout right at the open. Palantir, well, you know, that 30 level, you had your chance. That was a while ago. It's now testing that 31. So you always have to ask yourself, what is the next opportunity on Palantir? It would be breaking last week's high at 31.20. Or just joining trend, maybe dipping into like a VWAP or something like that. So Palantir has come and gone. It was, you know, it's been a good one since earnings, but we, no, I speak for myself. I mean, you know, missed that 30 level here on Palantir. It's a pretty clean breakout. Nike continues to churn higher, kind of looking at that 77 zone as the next line in the sand. Didn't get VWAP, as now it's a little bit allergic to VWAP on those dips and making a fresh high. So higher highs and higher lows. If we lose this trend, I'm just going to jump out of this with a trailing stop. Chill Vibe says Google is weak. Well, we did say this has been telling you that it's been weak relative to a lot of other names because Alphabet can't break 165. It just can't do it. I mean, I'm not saying it'll never will, but eventually it's going to, but it can't seem to do it again today. Wicks that 165 level. Short the wrong stock. Google was the one at that 165, and it looks like you could have got it there, 164.75.
Yeah, I remember we talked about trying to play the names that were long that already gave us the ideas, right? Which is why Apple will be a huge stock for us today. And we were actually talking about that when we were mentioning Google. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to stay with it because it was a weaker name and we didn't necessarily love it. A name that just pulled back pretty decently, first of all, hopefully is Starbucks, which were in that name. Oops, not AMB, was AMZN. That was Amazon. So we'll have to look at Amazon now. This name is underneath VWAP, underneath the 50-period moving average, underneath the 200-period moving average, looking lower rate. Okay, come on, Starbucks. Looking lower rate now. I might take some 70s here, boom, if we can get it. All right, let's go Starbucks. Let's get to the downside right now. We're bidding 50s as well right here. We can make another 50 cents on Starbucks. We'll do that right now and try to get it back. We are red on Starbucks, but that's hopefully temporary, and we'll see. If it keeps going higher, though, then we will be in trouble. But here we go. It just got to 56 there and stopped. We're at 52. But come on, get back lower now, Starbucks. Let's get into this zone right here, and we'll take some bids out there into the 50s. We're watching out for Starbucks right now. Apple still. Come on, man, give it up for Apple. Apple's still $1 in the money right there. Our Nvidia, we should still be in, but we're not. Tesla up to 205 right now, starting to go. But right now, man, we're trading here. We're trying to trade some decent amount of shares here on Starbucks as we go. So here we go. Let's see what happens now with Starbucks. Hopefully we get that 50 print. It just keeps on bouncing there off of 50. So we need it to break at least one time, give it a test, back down there into 94. That's kind of, okay, don't stop again at this exact same level. We're bidding 52s and trying to be a little stubborn about it right now. It doesn't really matter with the amount of shares. We could just bid whatever we want and get out, hopefully. But right there, I'm thinking like 94 should get a pullback. I mean, that's 93.10 right there on the 50 period. But again, trading stock with news is a little different. You don't necessarily need to look at all these levels. It's more about momentum and stuff like that. So let's see what happens now with Starbucks. I may change this bid, but when I do, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's now the trend bottom on Starbucks would be right around 94. I'm talking about since the open, not since the news came out. This is since the open, support at 92, and then there is your trend line. It's going to be hard zooming in and out of this one, but you guys get the idea. If we break 94s,
there we go.
I think you can get down and back into that 92 where the morning support was on this bad boy. So Apple, just quickly going to go over to Apple because Apple's finding support. Sorry. Finding a resistance level at that 221.5. We're just talking about Starbucks support. But trying to get to VWAP again is Apple. So I got out of this one when it failed the high of the day, although failure is probably an exaggeration. Shouldn't say it. When it turned at the high of the day, it's up 1.5%. So looking for that VWAP retrace. 220 was the level before. Now I want to look for a VWAP retracement and bounce here to get back into Apple on that long. We got out of it altogether, looking for that reload. Nike still looking pretty solid up there. And, you know, we'll just have to play it by ear. I don't know that we're going to get to VWAP on Apple. That's just the line on the chart where it bounced before. So if it pulls into like 220.5, you go sideways, consolidate. Maybe that's where the long is. I'm just looking for the next long. It could be VWAP, could be 220.50. I just want to see it give you a bottom, hold the bottom, and then try to get in back to this trend. I think Apple's looking pretty strong here, along with the whole market. And if you like stocks going up and finding those longs, then hit that like, hit that subscribe. You got questions for us in the chat, make sure you hit the subscribe because it's a subscribers only chat. If you want to engage with us, ask us questions, let us know how your day is going, jump in there and fire away. We got a great community going and hopefully it just continues to grow and grow.
All right, so we're lucky enough to get that Starbucks there at 94.60s, 94.50s. We told you we could change our price up a little bit right there for that because, yeah, our stop is right around this area anyways. So if it continues to march a little bit higher, and we'll have to get out there at the high of the day. So a little bit of a reload there. And then just now, like we mentioned, just scalping it out. Like we just took some 89s there. And we'll see if we can get back out into the 50s if that happens one more time. And there it is. So we'll take 15 cents and see if it can go lower now. Come on, Starbucks. I would make a little bit of this money back. Maybe we'll get a matcha latte at some point. Get to the downside now. But what a day for Starbucks. I can't wipe that smile off my face. That is for sure on that name. So again, Amazon, weaker for sure. I'm trying to stick with what I'm trying to do here, and that is to buy the names that are stronger. We talked about Apple dipping in there into some VWAP. So let's try it right now. We'll buy some 70s and see if it holds in and around this 220.50 area. If it does not, then we can get out. We've already made a lot of money on Apple today, so let's just not throw it after each other and throw bad after good and so on and so forth here. As there goes Starbucks back there to the upside. So I'm just going to clean up my Apple trade, but there it is. There's the reload on Apple. Let's see if we get something. Okay, there it is. Let's go see if we get something out in the high 80s. We just got mid 80s, but Starbucks will be red today. We'll have one red name. It'll be SBUX, and it just took out 95 again. I think it's going to fall at some point. It's just a matter of when that point is exactly, and it doesn't seem to be anytime soon. So we'll wait to see on this, but there we go. We actually got back in and took another 20 cents. Here it comes back to the downside. Look, I mean, I'm feeling kind of ways by taking in and outs here all the time, but we still are getting stopped out every time it goes. We're lucky enough to sit here and be able. I've traded thousands of shares of this name already here today. So, and just to let you know, 40 plus fills on Starbucks already. So you trade more shares, you can take more out at certain levels. So there you go. And that's what's happening right now with Starbucks. And then Apple's trying to fade out again right now through that 220.50. So this was an area that we did look for some concern back down into 220 right now. Watch out for these futures.
Yeah, when the futures are giving a little bit of a topping tail candle at 1890. In addition to Apple, Palantir's trying to pull back into VWAP, so maybe that one's going to come in. That was, like we said, you're not going to be able to catch every single trade. Apple getting to VWAP first, but I want to have eyeballs on Palantir. Palantir just trends to that high of 31.20. I feel the same way I did about it last week, where the plan on Palantir last week going into 30 was not to just be long the breakout at 30. It was to try to find the long into the high. That way, when you take the break, if you take the break, you're already in the money and up on the stock. And if the break fails, it's not that bad because that's how Palantir has tended to go sometimes. So I do want to find my way into a long. That way, if it gets to 31 and 25 on Palantir, I'm able to have a profitable trade going in. Just got to be patient. VWAP took a while to come back in here on Apple, but it's holding out this entire way. So a strong looking stock as far as I'm concerned, even with the futures pulling back. And as long as it holds VWAP, Apple's going to start to look good one more time. So as I said on Palantir, not down here yet into the quarters. Just want to see where the bid tries to pick back up, and then we'll engage. If it flushes right through, no need to jump on a bid if it's just a falling knife here on PLTR. But that's a new one for us. Haven't actually made a trade in it just yet. Nike, okay, so it's making a second attempt at this high close to that 77 level. If it fails at 77, I'm jumping out. It was a 75.50 break into 76 on VWAP and just looking for a trend break to get back out. I'm just going to put a trailing stop, join the trend line, put a trailing stop underneath the trend here on Nike.
All right, we're putting more damage on Apple as well. We're long right now at 220.30 right now for Apple. So there it goes, man. It's a nice move back there to the upside. And oh, yeah, we got Starbucks now, baby. Let's see if we get this to the downside. We're short 95s. A little bit of a retracement would be nice, 93.70. Oh, thank you so much, Randy. I was actually going to get up and get one right there. Thank you, Randy. Well, you know, it's hard to leave the desk.
Thanks, Randy.
Right now. You know what I mean? Thank you, Randy.
Oh, wow.
Much appreciated. You've done
yeoman's work
with this coffee.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Starbucks is all about it. Look at that stock. We had bought this, and it is smoking right now to Starbucks. Shout out to my wife. This goes back to the buy whatever we spend lots of money on, and that would be Starbucks. So you and I were talking about Tesla. No, not at all. Brian Nickel, Chipotle, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely helping. That is for sure, but not that much. All right, there goes Starbucks now, 50 cents in the money. Apple, 50 cents in the money, and Adara at the desk.
Yeah, that's you.
The IWM definitely not seeing the same strength that we've got there in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ this morning. Right now, a little bit stuck in between that 205 and 205.50 area. Both of those levels were intraday support and resistance. So this could be a bit of a level to watch out for on that Russell 2000. In terms of small cap names to watch out for, we have CXApp. This is CXAI. It's the ticker for this one. Still up here, almost 80%. They had earnings, missed on earnings per share and sales. However, they did announce a multi-year agreement with Google Cloud for AI infrastructure. So nice look there for CXAI. This one's run in the past as well. We also have here another former runner, TPST. This is Tempest Therapeutics. You might recall this one as that name that ran up more than 3,000% in one day in September. Not seeing any news on Tempest, but they do have a short float of around 9.1%. So TPST definitely on watch here. Last but not least, Zapata Computing, ZPTA. This is actually a penny stock under $1 right now, up more than 20%, announcing a cooperative research agreement with U.S. Special Operations Command. After that announcement, they received an overweight rating and a $1.75 price target from Cantor Fitzgerald. So ZPTA also on watch here. Quite a few interesting names here, guys.
Yes, sir. Tempest, we know that can be a bit of a temperamental stock every now and then, as we talked about. 221 here on Apple, starting to find a little bit of resistance. All right, I've moved my trail up on Nike, just tagged 97, 76, 97. So it's failing at that actual, not failing. It's topping at that high, so my trail's now underneath the 80 level, going to hold it through that breakout. Maybe we'll get another shot to dip in here off VWAP. I had another bid, a little bit tighter to VWAP. We didn't get it. We'll see what happens on Apple. Don't want this failing 221 without catching a bit of an out. And just want to go back over to one name that I think we mentioned with regards to retail, and it's looking weak. I mean, Google's looking weak as well. We talked about this on the Mag 7. Yeah, so another day, another no break of 170 on Amazon. So it is what it is. One day it breaks 170 and we'll be long Amazon. Until that happens, we're just, no trade. But it's getting back into VWAP here, and it would be nice little rounded bottom if it can break out. But if this fails VWAP, this might just be a short the VWAP situation on AMZ. And I did prefer Google, I think, for a short idea, but it's not really setting up great entries on Alphabet at all. So we'll just have to be patient with that. Nike holding above 77 now, so that's the buck in the money. And Apple, this 50 cents. Palantir, still no entries for me on PLTR. It is now getting a little bit closer to VWAP.
There it is. I mean, look, we'll just keep hitting the dollar club because we're taking them. But I mean, I don't know how far Starbucks is going to go down right now. We are short 95. It's at 94.10. There it is. There's your official dollar club as it's trying to break through $94. We'll see 93.85. We just took that bid there at 05s or something, 06s there on Starbucks. We do have a new position alert though. It's Google. We're long Google right now. We're long at 22s. It's at 30s, so I don't know. It's kind of just bouncing around. And again, this is the benefit of using more shares. You can scalp it out if you want to, or hold on for big, huge wins. And there it is. Yes, sir. Spin it. There's Google, man. We just talked about that one. It's going to trying to go back up. They're up to the upside. Let's see if it wants to go right now. And we're just, like I said, man, we're having a good day today. So we'll just keep on stacking a little bit and see if we can get that going for us again there on Google. Apple, that was a great reload. We just stay in the pocket. We stay doing what we do best here, and that is trade. And so there it go. Oh, what did we just get filled on right there? Was that Google trade? Yes, that was. So there it is, man. We like Google. We like that setup right there. You know, normally a name that we don't trade against weakness, but it's still okay. I mean, it's not like it's red or anything yet. Bouncing there off the 200 period moving average. We took it. And so far, so good there on Google. We only have one red name today, and it's going to be Starbucks. And that's fine by me, to be honest with you. But we're still holding out hope that this can get back to the downside and we'll be green on it. 92 coming into play. That's where VWAP is. So let's sit at, I mean, VWAP is really at 91.60. I don't know if that's right. Let me just double check. Another source here. Starbucks. Okay. Analyst rating buy. Okay. That's nice. I did not mean to open up Edge. Yeah, 90. Yeah. So it's still there. Yeah. So that's right. 92 and change.
You could have asked ChatGPT.
Yeah. I don't know why. I must have hit the little button here on the window.
Yeah, there's like a key. There's a key combination that's done it. I have no idea what it is, but I've accidentally opened up Edge myself. But it is what it is.
All right, there it goes, man. It's a chicken dinner winner. We just talked about Google there. I know Neil wasn't loving it. I did. I liked it.
Under 165.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not close to 165.
Oh, no, we're long. Right there. So there it goes, man. 20 cents plus in the money there on Google. We'll wait to see if we're able to capture some more profit on that one. And there it goes, man. There goes Starbucks officially now, that dollar club. So nice little move there for us to make that money back now on Starbucks as it's starting to go down. We just talked about 92 and change. So let's put a bid there. I got to rush to my account because I feel like this is a good out right in and around here to get something out on Starbucks if it does exactly hold up here so I can get out once this show is done in a little bit. I thought it was a great out. I mean, we went long 74, and we were just trying to get that rebuild project going on Starbucks. And that rebuild project is now in full swing. And I thought up here was a good out, $89, $90. But the market is really giving us up to here, 97, 98 right now. So Starbucks, considering where it's come from, it's a great little move today. So I want to be able to celebrate that and get something out of the way there on Starbucks now, $1 in. And Google just fading out just a little bit back in now here. So, yeah, Tesla is really strong, man. That's 205, 206 right now for TSLA. It's surprising we're still up on this stock, to be honest with you, because we were pretty aggressively shorting this name, able to capture profit before getting out. So that was the key thing there. A couple profit spots in there, and then getting out right at that 204 break. That could have been a long, but 206. I have to do some more research here on Starbucks, on Tesla.
Yeah, the market, let's just hit this key for the market, 1.5% and charging back toward the high. It just did a lit grab underneath 189. 18.9, I should say. 18.9 on the NASDAQ futures. Said if we failed that 221 when the market was making a lower high, I'd look for VWAP again. Just a bit of a head and shoulders on Apple. Whereas Nike's going through highs, so it feels like it's actually just accelerating here. Didn't get any more VWAP retracements, but now you've got this really, really steep slope. So as steep as it gets, the trail just keeps on moving along with it. And I'm going to quickly show you this. On the last break, if it breaks a very steep trend line, that'd be like 77.20. So I just keep doing that and then putting a trail underneath wherever the trend happens to join up. And just been moving my trailing stop the entire way. Like you can set it, hey, if it pulls back 20 cents or if it pulls back a percentage point, I'm just joining trend lines here as it makes a fresh breakout. So Nike absolutely flying. I did say I like that over ONON. That said, there was a great failed breakout trade on ONON if you happen to be looking at that stock. Still an inside day for ON, while Nike is continuing its breakout to the upside. So I just jumped out of Apple. We'll look back to VWAP to see if we can get it one more time. It's only about 10:30. You still have plenty of time for this market to want to go a little bit higher before we head to the midday. No VWAP on Palantir. The Palantir's up 4 points, broke 30, still looking very strong. 30 40 looks like the support zone more so than VWAP. So I'll try to get something in there if it pulls back for me. You can complain about, hey, we missed Palantir through the $30 level. That's true. 100% true. We missed it through 30. We just got to play the next trade. And that's the buy the dip off of support here.
Yeah, exactly. What a good day today it is. Today's a good day to look at your personal account, I would think. Up 1.5%. And I know a lot of you are fans of Palantir. So there we go. So we have Palantir today. You guys know we've been a little dusty there. We've been talking about Palantir for a minute live on the show. And I mean, great to see that reaction today for PLTR, taking out some big levels. And again, we had bought this name on its direct list at $9.20. We had bought some more. We bought some more at $14. We bought some more at $20-something as well. But Palantir up there now, 3.71%, man. This stock has been absolutely fantastic and just ripping since, again, we weren't here last week. Man, only to have been here last week. We had a great week.
Nobody would go. So what happened when Palantir was trending into 30? I remember after the breakout, it's like it made the break,
20,
and then everyone kind of like, you put your stops in because it made the break. I went to go grab, well, I didn't grab my own lunch. I went to go check lunch. Someone got it for me. Not a single person had taken lunch because everyone had been waiting for Palantir at 30. It's like the lunch was, all the food had been there for like a half an hour because no one wanted to get up till Palantir made its move off the 30 level. It was cool to see because remember that, was it Apple? No, it was Nvidia, where everyone just sat there. You had to wait, and no one's getting up from their seats because the breakout was going to be that good. And for those trades, you just got to be patient for it, and you don't want to miss your spot. If you had to go to the bathroom, you sucked it up and waited until it was like an hour churning into that level before it finally made the break.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I mean, that would have been great. It was more about just the fact that, like, how low Palantir got. There, $22, $23 area. That was a good level there. I mean, again, unless, like we had talked about that, I wasn't here, but unless you were sitting there, that was hard to get for sure. But nice little move there for PLTR. We'll see what happens to it moving forward now. It's Palantir on my mind. So we'll wait for that one, but we're not in it, so we'll chill out. But what we are in is Starbucks, and right now Starbucks is bouncing off this 93.50 area. So I feel like this is a level of concern for me a little bit here into 93.50. So let's have, again, just a quick little look at this and then figure out where it's going. I just put a bid now at 93.10, hoping that we had broke that 50 level and whooshed down a little bit. The fact that we're kind of stopping out here, I don't know. Who's in your buying Starbucks right now, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of people like myself, maybe like you guys as well, that have already bought lower, and it's like, unless you heeded the advice, which I think some people did, we saw that on the chat about trying to go short CMG. I don't know if maybe I wasn't, and obviously I was not, as excited to go long on Starbucks there. So that seemed to have been the right play, as is the short on Chipotle. So for right now, let's see if Starbucks does want to retrace back a little bit. I might punch out at 94 a little bit there to make $1, to make sure we capture $1, but here it comes. Okay, so we're at 93.10 right now on this name, so a little bit of a push down in should get us to that now, and then we'll grab that fill, and that will be your second $2 winner to match with Nvidia, which we are able to get out there. That did go to 114.50, but the market should be falling down just a little bit, broke through the 50 period moving average, and let's go now $1.70 now in the money on Starbucks. You know what? Let's get greedy. We already are a little bit here. I don't think we're greedy, but let's just make sure we take this out. It's not really going down. I just bid in the 30s right now to see what's going on with that. Google, we've been getting out, man. It went to the 50 period. We actually got right there, 50s out. We have about half of this position as it's trying to fall back in as well. So taking advantage of some of these moves here today is what we do. And that's a good move for Google, but it is fading back. Watch out for 163. That breaks. We don't want any more of this one. Was it a call for Zera?
Was it?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Bit of a pull. Oh, wait a minute. It was?
Hello?
Oh, crypto.
Yeah, not one, but two smaller crypto miners with day one earnings today. First off, we have Hut 8 HUT. This one getting a little bit less volume. They reported earnings before market open today. Much larger than expected loss per share. They also missed on sales. We also have the TeraWulf. They initially were trading a little bit higher after they reported after the close yesterday. Now down about 3% with more volume than what we're seeing on Hut 8. WULF did have a slightly larger than expected loss per share, but they beat on sales. Their Bitcoin mining, though, did drop about 21% year over year. So WULF and HUT both on watch here today in the crypto space with those earnings. We have Bitcoin right now chopping and churning just below that 60,000 level, slightly down in the day, but more or less same kind of trading range that we saw yesterday on that BTC when we look at it on the daily chart. Bitcoin down about 1%. We've got Ethereum down here almost 2%, but holding on nicely to that 2,600 level. The rest of these names are also going to be down in the day. Some weakness here in Solana down about 2%. Toncoin down about 4%. Doge and Cardano both down about just over 1%. So a little bit of slight weakness today in the cryptocurrency space across the board, guys.
Slight weakness. I mean, every time you look at Bitcoin, it's at 59 even. So it's not really... I mean, it's probably moving adjacent to that up and back and forth, but not crazy moves until we get back above that 60 level, I think, or at least retest it or pop and fade or something would look more interesting. So the trend's continuing here on Nike. It's kind of going parabolic since this break. So as I said, my trailing stop just kind of moves up. Each time it bounces off this level, it goes to the next. So if it gets under 77.40, then we'll trail out. So I'm just essentially going to hold this until it breaks the trend back in. When you look at the daily chart on Nike, it is a ridiculous gap that's in here. It's not filling in the entire gap in one day. The 50 period does sit at like 81 bucks, and then you have like an $80 level of resistance. If it sees 80, that's an easy out, but it's more of a trend for me. So hold the trend, see how far it does want to go in here, and Apple's trying to bounce off VWAP one more time. So here is Apple trying to make that hold off of VWAP. We're going to go for the reload again on AAPL.
Okay, guys, we actually did, and I like that call on Apple as well. We're in that one now, 30 cents in the money on Apple. But look at this one, man. There goes Google. We can't do it. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. I mean, no better than that right there as Google just rips up. Wow, we're really getting these, eh? Okay. Okay, 47s again as the bull goes, man. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now on that little reload there. And by the way, giddy up, man. That $2 is now official on Starbucks as it prints 93s to the downside for SBUX. Cannot honestly wipe this smile off my face again. We've been back for 2 days, and they've been 2 really good days. Like I said, I knew last week we were missing some action there, you know, with it being possibly the best week in years. But, you know, we're back here this week, although it's been really slow. Today, nice upside trend, right? Yesterday, again, we had a decent day. We had to fight that into the afternoon. We had a great Shopify short. We had a great TQ short. We haven't even looked at the futures today, which we probably should be, but there was a lot of action here, and we just traded the names that we wanted to trade today. Nvidia, Apple, Tesla, and then, of course, Starbucks came through with some of the greatest news I've heard in a very long time for that company. Right now, they can see clearly now the CEO is gone. So there we go. Nice move there for Brian Nickel and Starbucks. So yeah, whenever you're ready, Neil, you let me know. Because,
no, absolutely.
All right, let's go.
What's interesting is we always talk about IPOs and like new listings in that regard, IPOs, SPACs, all that kind of good stuff. But there are other opportunities out there. So this Firefly Neurosciences, they closed a merger agreement and trading today under the NASDAQ for the first time under AIFF here. So that's a new one. 3.5 million private placement was also closed. And just when you see these types of these opportunities, it opens, retests. I like trends. There's no question about it. VWAP is just a line on a chart. I just want to show you what's happened on this since it held VWAP and now trending back in. This is about 650 that it held bottoms, breaking out above 7, holding on to VWAP, trending back in. Some selling at that $9 level. So Firefly looking really good. AIFF, a lot of times we talk about these new listings into the market. This one, just another one that is trying to go to the upside here. First day here, Firefly Neurosciences. Good look for them. And hopefully it can hold on to that trend into the upside. Speaking of trends, though, the trend on Apple has been to hold VWAP. The only bad thing about Apple is, well, there hasn't really been a bad thing yet. So the only thing that's happening is it's at VWAP when the market's retesting the highs. I don't know that I want to call that a bad thing, but it is worth note. Like, we're at VWAP. the market's trying to hold tops, and Apple's not quite getting there just yet. So I do not want this losing VWAP, and then suddenly it's a quote-unquote weak stock because it's underneath that VWAP line. Rivian, that's my lot in life. So this joined Starbucks. Obviously, I'm not taking a big hit on Rivian, but when it broke that top, I'm thinking 14 bucks. Like that was the plan of action, was short Rivian at the even dollar. Okay, flat bottom break was the first part, and then short it at the even dollar. Well, it never got to the even dollar. So it is what it is. So I was short underneath it with a tight stop, looking for it to break the high and go to 14, but it is under VWAP. And sometimes you have to make the next trade. And it's relatively weak as far as I'm concerned underneath VWAP. I'll take some kind of a consolidation short to me here on RIVN. I do want to be southbound on this name. Like, you can't tell me Rivian's losing VWAP while Tesla was storming to the upside. You know, I know which name I'd rather take a shot at short at this point in the day. Nike just continues to go higher. It's about to break $78 as that one is absolutely flying to the upside. And Nike, hey, we said it would be better than ONON. And I have nothing against ONON. Well, I don't know, whatever we want to call it. ONON here. Actually a good move up for ONON, but it still has yet to break its high. So unless you were magically dip buying this one at 39, just never really saw a good trading opportunity there.
And I'd mention again at about 8:30 or so that we probably would not have an ONON trade on, but that's a great Nike trade. And we are also very, very, very happy with that Nike. So we bought some depressed assets recently, including Nike, and we had talked. So it was Nike at 72, and it was Starbucks at 74. We did not buy some McDonald's, but that was another play that I think can be had as well. So yeah, Nike really battling back there. Oh wow, McDonald's is now all the way to 260. So this was another opportunity there as the golden arches formation on the daily chart formed out, man, down to 245, now up to 270. Da 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 da. I'm not in it, but I like it. So that's McDonald's coming through there one more time as well. The worst dip buy opportunity that I'm pretty sure every single person did was CrowdStrike. I got to find out where I'm in on this name right now, but it's definitely not down
had
here
a great bottom last
at
week.
200. Yeah, 220-ish. Yeah, so 222 right there from last week, as Neil was mentioning there on CrowdStrike. But a nice little bounce back again. I feel like I bought in here, but it wouldn't have been the very first day, but it probably would have been. I'm going to go find out for you. I'll find out for you on the second show there tonight, this afternoon, where we're long. Not that it matters where I'm long, but I think it's in and around here. But a nice dip down. This has been a horrendous trade buying these names. I don't think that that's worth it ever. I'm just going to be buying high-quality names moving forward, but I still do like CrowdStrike, but they got to get through it. I mean, they're a high-quality name in the cybersecurity space. That is for sure.
It's a crowded offer when it gets to 250.
Yeah, it definitely is. You got to crowdsource that trade for sure. But then when you come up here, Pan W has been a name that we've been in for 20 plus years. So Palo, or how long it's been around. Palo Alto, huge move. And I mean, you know, a lot of people rag on Kramer and all that stuff, but there's reasons why, you know, we're long Nvidia. We talked about, I actually showed Fabian the other day what our percentage was up there on Nvidia. And I mean, a lot of you have the same trades. It's just buying the best stocks for the average cost on Apple, the average cost on Google, some of these Meta even. I mean, we had posted up, and shout out to Adam DeLuz as well, and to Sharif over here too, because we were pounding the table over and over again when Facebook and Meta got below or near that $100 mark. And I was like, this is not a 15 or 14 PE name. There's too much cash. There's too much everything. Now they have one of the best AIs out there. Their sales is through the damn roof, and Meta is now a $500 name. You have to sort of get in there and make plays when you think some stocks are a little depressed. And Nike, I felt like that. Starbucks, I feel like it was a nice win today. Not that it was expected, but you know, sometimes when you roll the dice, it turns up for you. Google, nice little play there too. I think Google might be worth a buy at some of these levels for the long term, but I'd bias on that. All right, where's the Derek? She's over there, so let's go.
Ready.
Generally, a lot of these sectors up on the day, so we'll start with the two that are a little bit weaker. One of them is going to be retail trade. We have Amazon to the upside, but Walmart and Costco notably a little bit red here. Walmart, keep an eye on this when it does report Thursday morning. Home Depot HD, which reported this morning, is trading relatively flat. The other weaker sector we have to talk about here is energy minerals. All of these names to the downside, with OXY, Occidental, notably weak here. There is a new secondary public offering announced yesterday after the close. Also, the pricing of a secondary offering. So keep an eye on OXY with that in mind. We have a little bit of strength here to talk about in both of these tech-related sectors. Nvidia and the chips notably strong here in electronic technology, and technology services pretty strong here across the board as well. We have GOOGL on watch as they head into their Made by Google event this afternoon. Also worth noting, we just had CrowdStrike discussed. Both PANW and Snowflake in the cybersecurity space are set to report next week, so keep an eye on those two. One other sector we have to talk about today is going to be consumer services, of course. Starbucks sharply to the upside, and CMG Chipotle sharply to the downside after the announcement of the CEO of Chipotle now taking over as the CEO at Starbucks. So keep an eye on this sector. Could be an interesting one, guys.
I was just saying, like, if PanW, maybe it's a bit too early for this, and maybe we're talking about next quarter, not this report, but if they show any kind of attributable bounce from CrowdStrike losing business, I think that one could absolutely fly. Now, full disclosure, man, I own both. I'm the same way. I bought some CrowdStrike on that dip, but I do like PanW better. I just thought there was a value to be had in CrowdStrike, and I do like it. So VWAP bouncing here on Apple. You can see it's holding VWAP. You hear us say VWAP a lot, and it's not to say that if a stock gets to VWAP and it's trending up, it's going to bounce. However, the way I look at it, if a stock is trending up and bouncing off VWAP, then until it stops doing that, try to make as many trades as you can and see if it can't hold the trend forever. We'll see if that continues to happen there on Nike. There was a question in the chat there about Disney, and it was addressed, when is Disney a buy? So let me load it up here. Disney down today, down on the daily chart. I mean, you can see this. I just always look for that rounded bottom. So what Disney did is it made this liquidity grab bottom. I mean, everything dying, making some fresh lows at some point last week. Higher low. As a trade, see this bottom right here? Wipe out bottom to 86.5, 86.5, 86.5, 86.5. For a trade, 86.5 break on Disney. In terms of long term, I want this thing getting back. I think I said this already last week. I want this getting back above that 88 zone, make that rounded high, rounded bottom, hold 88, break back out through 90, and then it can be worth taking a look at it. Show me some signs of a trend break, make a low, and get back through prior support. And hopefully it's not going to be resistance again during Disney. That's what I'm looking for to get back in. So we'll see what happens on Disney. Down into an up market is not usually the way that you want things to go. Oh, Boeing.
By the way, guys, we just did it again. I mean, there's Google again on the reload. So, I mean, Apple by far, Apple's probably set. Apple is, I mean, I'll tell you, Apple is 3.5 times the best P&L name today. So Apple just continues to be great. I'm debating reloading this right now. I don't know. I'm more on a Google tip right now for some reason. You know, we've just been reloading this one over and over again, and I've just been scalping it out. This name will not be going against me anytime soon, I hope. Let's see if we get back into the 40s now for that. But Apple could also be a good reload down there. It's not, this one's actually not performing the way I sort of thought it would, right? I mean, dip down in, look at the futures, days high right now for the futures. Apple just Google. Apple just kind of hanging out right there. And just to address this Starbucks trade, we're already out here at 93. We have probably about 10% left or so of this name. So I still like the stock, but again, not really in it to win it right now. We're just going to see how far we can go up to the upside. We have 4 times the shares right now in Google. So we'll wait to see what's happening right now with Google. I might just take another piece out. But the market's trying to fly higher here.
Trying.
So we'll be trying, yeah, exactly. It's trying to break the high right now.
Oh, yeah,
so right now it's trying to go. And like I said, man, I mean, this is what we're here for. This is real trading. Here today. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, Nvidia right there off of our posted note. Buy VWAP off the open is right now $2.50 in the money. Apple's our #1 trade idea and the #1 P&L name on the show. The #2 P&L name on the show is Nvidia. The #3 P&L name is Google. As we keep on going, then we have Tesla as well. And we wrote down Tesla here, and honestly, I'm here to tell you, we wrote down the short on Tesla, but it is a positive name. So Tesla's a positive name for us today. It's not huge, but it's there. We made about a third on Tesla what we did on Nvidia, and about 8%, a little higher than that, about 12 or 15% of what we made on Apple right there. So far so good here today. As we continue to go, we're long on Tesla, we're long on Apple, Google. Neil's got a great trade there with Nike.
And there was no news on Nike. There was just a question. There's no specific news on Nike.
No. I mean, we upgraded it weeks ago, so that should have reacted that. But right now, nice move. Oh yeah, let's check out Dell as well to the upside. And again, Nike's there. I mean, wow. Fire that one off. We just talked about this yesterday, Dell. Up 6% today as it's going higher and higher and higher there for Dell. So the news on Nike is Starbucks. Okay, that's what it is. So, I mean, obviously, if Starbucks gets a new management change, trying to reshuffle things around right there, hoping that the same probably could be true there for Nike as they're both embattled retailers. So we'll see what happens there. And plus ONON obviously helping Nike out as well today. So a lot of flow through for that. That's a good trade. But like I said, man, we'll end the day here at our highest spot with our only loser is going to be Nike right now, is Starbucks today. But it was such a great recovery. So, we'll be barely down on this one, but we will have a red name. We'll be pretty good, though, today. Again, right where we need to be. So glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to be back. And look, I'm still just moving this trail on Nike. It's going to fly the way it's going here. And there's no obvious levels. And as I said, there's no specific news to Nike. You have a technical breakout because Starbucks happened to go up and they were down for some similar reasons. So there's your technical break. It was just a triple top that got taken out. It's filling in a bit of a gap since earnings. I don't know if it gets to $80, but the second it breaks this trend line, I shouldn't say the second it fails underneath the trend that I keep redrawing here, there you go. So broke the high. There's your next consolidation. There is the trend. If it breaks it, I'm out. So I just keep that up. And I'm adjusting. Apple bouncing off VWAP, so that one's still continuing. Although, as Sean and both of us have said, the market's breaking fresh highs, and Apple is trying to make some lower highs in here. So it's good, but not as good as it was early when it broke 220 the first time. Let's go to Adara for Money Talks.
Oh, what are we even doing?
Third straight red candle on the daily chart forming here for the DXY. As you can tell, we're basically trading at low of days here right now for the US dollar. It'll be interesting. We're continuing this downtrend, but getting near that previous support area a little bit around that 102.70 area. Let's see what the DXY does from here. We did have this PPI data coming out this morning. Market reacting positively. Looks like the DXY is reacting negatively. Every print came in lower than expected. PPI month over month for July plus 0.1% versus the estimate of positive 0.2%. Year-over-year core CPI or core PPI quite a bit lower than expected, 2.4% versus 2.7%. PPI month over month actually flat on a core basis here versus estimates of 0.2%. And PPI year-over-year for July coming in at 2.2% versus estimates here of 2.3%. So all of these prints not only lower than expected, but also lower than the prints for the month of June. This will be interesting also looking ahead to tomorrow's data at 8:30 a.m., the more carefully watched CPI, consumer price inflation. So keep an eye on the consumer price index as we head into tomorrow. Also worth noting, we do have Fed's Bostic speaking at 1:15 p.m. So keep an eye on those comments as well, guys.
Bostic.
Yeah, Bostic. We're getting out of Google right now just because it's a big winner for us there. So this is starting to climb upside. This just did take out Nvidia for number 2 P&L spot here. So it's really starting to go. We just took another piece out there at 63, 64. So that was a great couple reloads. And we always say it's never too late to trade when you're seeing good positions and good levels. And we didn't even start to get involved with this until 10:20. So a couple reloads and 3, in fact, as we get going there on this name. So yeah, man, a good trade here for me on Google, and we'll just start taking some more pieces out. I'm now waiting for 65. I don't know if we'll reload this. I just put out there on Twitter that we're going to start to get out of this position because we do have that Pixelverse event. So as that starts coming through there this PM, it's not really worth staying in this. I remember losing money when Meta had
Meta's was a crazy move.
Metaverse thing, or
whatever
whatever
the
it was,
heck they
with
called
the
it.
Oculus event there, which is, my kids are loving the Oculus. But yeah, anyways, so once they released that was a different style. So, all right, here we go. 163.65. We just said we're going to wait for another fill up there. If we can get it, great. We won't cry over spilt milk if we do not. We are lighter and lighter on Google. So all of these positions right now are pretty light. I mean, the Apple trade is a face slapper. We talked about this one being the #1 P&L name, and it is. It's not even close. Apple ripping to the high side right there today. My #1 trade idea was Nvidia, followed by Apple, followed by the Tesla short. So 3 for 3 on that one. And then we said, watch out for Palantir at 30. But, that name, as we've well documented, has come and gone. But, yeah, let's go, man. Google might give us that 65, Phil.
Yeah, that 30 break on Palantir, it's an unfortunate one, but it happened so early that if it wasn't, you'll have your trade ideas, and then you'll have the things that you call up at 9:30 in the morning that you're going to get into in the first 30 seconds, and there's only so many of those that you're going to be able to do. And you remember last Monday when everything was at that bottom? That's the perfect example of that scenario. You maybe had a shot at like 1 or 2 things at the open that morning, and that was just about it. So Nike briefly broke that trend. That's enough for me to get out. I'm not shorting Nike here, but we're out when it failed the trend line. It got to 78.34. I'm out at 78.10 when it broke the trend. So Nike continuing to fly and 5% up. Just keep in mind, like it's just day one of this making the rounded bottom here on Nike. So I think some kind of consolidation, dip support, like all that good stuff. I do like Nike in here. I'm not in it in my personal account. I was kind of waiting for it to maybe do this move and then settle down. I wanted it making a bottom and breaking out a top and showing you that round of bottom. So we're just in Apple off of VWAP at this point with only about 5 minutes to go till we sign you guys over to the midday. Look at it just hold. Since it broke 220, all it's done is hold VWAP, hold VWAP, hold VWAP, hold VWAP over and over again. James Choi says Boeing 170 close. I mean, not really, but I'm cheering for Boeing. I have all the moral support in the world for Boeing, but and one day it's going to actually start being good again. But until that day, you got to be patient for Boeing. Yeah, 170 could break sometime this week. I'm going to venture to predict it's not going to be today, but I'm always cheering for you, Boeing, at the lows of the day as we speak.
Yeah, I own Boeing. I took Boeing twice. It was a nice flight, good everything. We like.
You were on a Boeing plane?
Of course.
No, a lot of Canadian carriers don't. They have Airbus, not Boeing. So depending on what you flew.
Air Canada.
No, just a lot of Canadian carriers. Mostly, like I've only been on Airbus, but I think that's like to Halifax and then to Florida. So it's probably different when you're going across the pond. That's my guess, because I haven't been on a Boeing plane in a while. And it's a coincidence. I'm not saying anything about it. It's just I've only been to, like, my most recent was going to Florida, was going out east. Yep. I don't remember when we flew to Paris last year, but
probably Boeing.
It probably was.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. I'm just asking ChatGPT what percentage are Boeing in Canada. Okay, so here we go. They don't significant role. Yeah. Okay. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I would say it's probably over 90.
The last 737 MAX issue, it affected none. That was, remember, the headline.
Yeah.
It was
okay. Anyways, all right. Yeah. So Boeing again, not a great stock. I mean, dropped off that $90 level. Not good, man. That straight to the downside. Trying to find a spot. It's too bad. Not a big investment, but we do have some Boeing. That's for sure. All right. So we got out of that Apple. Let's go. The face slapper. The face slapper of the day, actually. It's Apple. And there it goes, man. I mean, like we said, this is when you have, we talk about this, Adara sort of coined the confidence thing. It's not bad. The thing is like you gotta have that. You gotta be able to say, this is why we stick our neck out every single day with these trades and actually put them on, or you actually use size. Is because like these are the trades that I'm trying to do. If they don't work, they don't work. We talk about that. You try to minimize the damage when they don't work, and it's that strategy of playing off support and resistance, just trusting the names that you've already done the work on. That's really been paying dividends here. We talked about kind of a rough month last month, but we had a great month just following our rules, not jumping around from stock to stock. And again, this month, similar thing happening right now, although we've only traded 3 or 4 days this month. it's been really good. And, you know, we'll continue that pressure on the market here, start applying some of our ideas to the stocks that we like. And look what just happened right there. Please go follow if you're not following right now at Trader TV Sean. Not only am I putting these up for free every single day, but we're also commenting on new trades that we put on, including Google here, including talking about the trades that we had on. We talk about Nvidia. You good, Adara, there? We have some Apple right there. We have some Nvidia, and then we have some Google on. And then not only that, we've also been making the rounds on Starbucks. So again, you know, good little levels there, coming back in 93, trying to break lower here for Starbucks. So again, we'll finish the day at our highest spot. It's been an absolutely fantastic day. And yeah, it's a good one, and nothing really to complain about here today as we go. So it's been a good one. And actually here, you know, we talk about this all the time, and I'm proud to say this again, because I always talk about it the other way. In the office today, there is less than 3 red traders, and that is absolutely fantastic right now then today. So congratulations to everybody in the office behind us. It's been a good day, and I guess it's been a lot of levels being hit right now on here. So congratulations to everybody there trading today. It's been another good one. I hope you guys are having a good time there watching. Make sure you do hit the like, the subscribe. We're going for a walk, but we'll be back at 2 o'clock and we'll see what happens then. But hey, man, great morning, great day. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the watch. And yeah, really glad to be here and be back trading. So you want to blow the cow, Ozan? You got to blow that cow right there. We had our cash cow hat on yesterday. It worked. Today we got the Blue Jays hat on as well. It's working. So far, so good there. You're welcome, Ozan, SMCI. Yeah, I haven't looked at that pretty much ever, but
yeah, look, last week, and thank you to everybody for following the show. With only about 30 seconds to go, briefly on SMCI, that 550 level is holding out like an absolute champion. So this is what we were mentioning yesterday. The pivot point at 550, the resistance on that SSR day on SMCI, it is breaking out. Maybe it fills in the gap into 600. That seems like an obvious area. But we'll see what happens. It's up 8%, but the market's up, Nvidia's up. Most of the chips are looking very, very strong. The only thing I'm still in is going to be this Apple VWAP, and until it stops this trend of bouncing off VWAP, I'm going to give it to that high. 222 was a target. It wicked it. We got completely out and waited for it to get back into VWAP. So I'm going to wait for that high of the day again here on AAPL. It's just taking the stairs to the upside. A little bit slower this time, but it's still climbing. Let's get on over to the midday. We've got Sharif. We've got Adara. We've got Learn to Trade. We'll be back at 2. Take it easy, guys.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif, and we're gonna wait.